from the Disney
I know,
movies.
but like,
and I'm like, even if you have music, you've probably you probably got that music from a 128 kilobit sword.
yeah, I was about to say, like, what's a CD? A CD is 128 usually.
Well, I don't know about
196
that one.
sometimes. I don't know.
CD quality is probably quite a lot, honestly.
CD's
you think
Yeah.
you think about a
I
CD
think.
being like 600 megabytes, and they can only fit like 12 songs on it, so that's a pretty high bit rate. But
Oh no, I'm looking at killer. I was thinking about 44.1.
yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
a sample rate.
Bit rate. What is it typically on a CD? Yeah. Okay. Here you go. The bit rate on a CD is 1,411 kbps.
Yep.
Okay.
So it's like basically
you think about it, like
lossless.
a CD. This is what people used to do back in the day, but like a CD could hold like 12 songs. Or if you had a head unit in your car that could support MP3 CDs, you'd burn the CD as like a data drive and then put 128 kilobit MP3s on the data drive.
And then you
if
could
you
have
had an
like
aftermarket
hundreds
head
of
unit.
songs.
Yeah, and you get a lot more songs on a CD if you did it that way. But it would only
like,
work
it's just like fucking stupid because like your podcast is mostly talking, and so you don't really benefit from all of that extra like bit rate because it's just voices. And yeah, an occasional song or two, but nobody's listening to it for the audio quality of the music. You just need to like have that. I mean, like podcast should be probably around 96 plus.
Yeah, so I went to stctp.wigglyhe.com, 320 kilobits per second. This is let me see how long this file is, because 1 hour and 45-minute podcast, it is 250 megabytes.
Yeah,
Holy
no one's
shit.
downloading that onto their phone. Like, come on.
It's apparently a really popular, like, this podcast is about 20 times at least as popular as Born in the 80s.
Wow.
Although 20
So
times
like
zero.
20 listeners.
So they have 20 listeners.
Well, they have 0 because 20 times 0 is 0. But
That's true. Fair enough.
no, like it's got like people fucking listen to this. Apparently, I was looking at I don't have analytics on it, but I have like just web traffic logs, and there's a shitload of like hits to these. You have to filter out the Apple ones because those are all bullshit. Apple caching everything, but there's actually quite a lot of them.
I don't host our podcast on a private server. I pay $20 a month.
See, I already paid $20 a month for a server that I do whatever the fuck I want with, including that Minecraft server we have.
Yeah, is that still up?
Probably. I never turned it off.
Nice.
Oh man, you should turn that off if you're paying for it.
It doesn't cost me I pay the same whether it runs or not.
It's always on anyway. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I might just randomly jump in there. I'm on Twitch, by the way.
Yeah, I just loaded it. So.
And I actually have a consistent bit rate. So cool.
Wow.
So the Twitter for Sonic the Comic the podcast has 650 followers.
Wow.
And then it started
That's 3
in 20,
times the followers.
It started in 2019.
So it's a podcast about Sonic comics.
Well,
So in the UK,
Yep.
there was a comic series called Sonic the Comic, and it was like a mix between an actual comic and Nintendo Power, but for Sega.
Okay.
But it was only in the UK, and that's what it was about. It's a guy from the UK talking about that comic, and they go through it issue by issue and talk about it. Including like the weird like game they have game reviews and shit in it because it's like Nintendo Power, but they called it Sonic the Comic.
So,
Matt,
Matt,
they got a Patreon. Let's see how much they make on Patreon.
Is there construction? where you're at?
$350 a month this fucking podcast makes on Patreon with 100 patrons.
Construction. Are you talking about just how messy my apartment is?
No, I'm hearing
I'm hearing it too.
lots of like someone's taking an aluminum sheet and just crunching it in all
Yeah.
different directions.
Sounds like cats to me.
No, that's definitely something that has happened on our podcast a few times.
I'm not hearing
I don't know
anything.
Oh, it could be me. I have a fan on in the room. Let me turn that off.
Well, here's the thing. Your box isn't showing as green when I'm hearing it.
None of them show as green. That's
Ooh,
Oh.
Is it better?
No.
Let me mute myself and see if it goes well.
I 100% hear that when I go on the
It
Twitch
sounds
stream.
like a. It
I
sounds like.
cannot hear it here, but on the Twitch stream you can hear it big time.
It sounds like 3D.
So it's
printer.
probably TJ.
I don't hear it when Matt's muted.
What? Okay.
It's weird because it doesn't. I don't know.
Because I don't hear
Anyway, yeah.
anything.
Sonic the Comic, the podcast, has 100 patrons on Patreon. Makes $350 a month,
Like it's almost like your house is settling.
and I host it. I could just fucking take it offline right now.
Do it! Chaos!
Chaos control.
Wow. It's the same exact time there.
We've been talking about Sonic, and you said chaos. What the fuck else was I supposed to say?
Just Chaos Emeralds. Just Chaos
You could have
Emeralds.
just said Chaos Emeralds.
Oh, you must be talking about the Chaos Emerald. You guys seen that video with the Obama?
No.
The
Probably.
Obama?
Yeah, hold on. Can I
Wait, you mean Barack Hussein Obama?
Oh, sorry. The middle name is important. I forgot to say the middle
You
name.
can't forget that his middle name is Hussein. Oh, I gotta turn off fucking World of Warcraft. For one.
Yeah.
I was flying out to an area, and now I have to log off because I don't need that running in the background.
I forgot to say the middle
Can't forget. Oh, Matt's listening to it.
name. I don't know what the fuck this is.
I have no clue what it is, but you can hear it.
Share your screen.
Let me grab.
See, now I don't hear it.
Is it? Well, Matt's not muted now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't hear anything in the stream.
Well, you're not listening with headphones though. I mean, it is really minor. Let me switch to only being able to hear Twitch, and we can get levels.
Okay.
Let me turn Discord off and let me listen to Twitch.
It's every time you touch. Okay.
I'm gonna move and tap stuff and see if it happens.
Oh, it's coming from Matt's mic for sure.
Mm.
Let me hear Matt.
It's
Matt,
difficult.
can you talk a bunch?
It's difficult
test.
to like describe what it is because it doesn't sound like construction. It's almost like I can't even think of it.
It is 100% happening when
You know,
only when you are talking.
It's almost like a deck, like
when you're
a
not
like a
talking. It is probably
decoration.
below the noise threshold gate, and I can't hear it.
It's probably like what the sound is like a Halloween decoration that the wind is hitting and making hit the side of the house. Is what it sounds like. Is John saying things?
He is, but I don't hear what John is saying of things.
I didn't hear John.
Yeah, neither did I.
Are we watching my Chaos Emeralds video?
Not. John, you
Does
are.
it sound any different now?
I still hear it. Like every time, like your elbow hit the table, I heard it when that happened.
So it must be. I'm gonna turn the gate off and see what does that sound like.
John, we can't hear you at all.
I wonder if John muted himself and is now listening to the Twitch stream.
It's possible, but John is muted somewhere internally. It's not through Discord. So now it sounds like we're driving through a tunnel.
If I do that, is that doing it?
That's like ASMR noises.
Because there's like, I think a bad connection here, but
John, I don't think Discord is recognizing your microphone again, like it was that one day. No, it's not better.
No.
now.
Can't hear it.
No words yet.
Testicles.
I mean, there is a non-zero chance that John's fucking with us, but not for this long. And now you can't hear me saying it. No. Nope. Spanky, I don't know if you're hearing Matt, but now it just sounds like a very, very distant crowd sounds. And not like excited crowd sounds, but just like they're all talking in a stadium. A mile and a half away. John, still can't hear you. I don't know what you did, John.
Did you unplug your microphone?
No, his microphone or whatever he's got it hooked up to sometimes just stops communicating with Discord for no reason.
Wait a minute. What the? Hold on. What? John is muted and deafened in.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's been on and off doing that, but
What the server deafen, server mute? What does that do?
yeah, you do
There
have those
are
options,
in
don't
red.
you?
It's like it's a bad. Can I do that to John?
Can you ban
I
John?
wouldn't.
It doesn't give me the option to.
Matt, what did you do? It sounds a little better.
I turned
better.
the gate back
You
on.
piece of shit.
Uh,
I got work.
Hi, John.
but
Okay.
I don't.
Is
Are you
is John
are you
delayed now?
Are you hearing that noise through Discord or through
All right, what's up, boys? I switched off
podcast.
of listening to Twitch. So I don't know what was going on with my microphone. Sometimes Discord is just like, hey, guess what? You're not connected anymore. I don't know what it is. I probably need to update the firmware on this fucking thing. I just plug and played it.
Yeah.
Probably would fix it. But I was fucking around with it and I must have bumped the phantom power. So for a long time, the phantom power was off. So it just wasn't getting any input. Now it's back on. So it
Matt,
should be working.
I hear it through Discord because I'm not even listening to Twitch right now.
Wait, Matt, can you talk a bunch?
I'm talking a bunch. I'm talking a bunch. I'm talking a bunch. I'm talking a bunch.
Hear it anymore?
It's better, but it's not perfect.
Okay.
I don't hear it.
How about
let's get levels on Twitch and then I'll
now?
see how it sounds.
Does it sound different now?
I just don't hear it.
It's so weird. It's like your voice has like a really thin echo of like it's like you like TJ said, it's like you have like an aluminum foil sheet that that your voice is like slightly bouncing off of.
I don't hear that.
Matt, talk again. Matt, talk loudly. You're so quiet.
I'm talking. Well, I can't do that. Oh, I guess. I'm talking loud.
It's so minor now, though, compared to what it used to be.
Yeah.
Like, it's not bad now. Like, I don't know what. Anyway.
But is it just Discord doing something weird, or is it?
It could be.
I don't know.
Earlier, I heard construction noises. I don't hear those anymore.
I don't know.
That's probably in my place.
Fuck you're talking
No.
about.
It was Matt. I muted everyone else, and I heard them on Matt.
Bump the table with your elbow again, or the desk. Okay, it's not as bad as it was.
I think that might be it. Are you got the Jimmy leg going, Matt?
Always.
Oh, see, there it is.
I'm not doing it. And now I'm
You need to
doing
get,
it.
like,
I haven't heard
mic-
it in a very long time. So like
You need to get your microphone stand like from the ceiling, hanging down, so it's nowhere like connected to your anyway.
I've
You need
got
a better
the-
shock mount. Well, you have a shock mount, don't
This
you?
hasn't. Yeah, I mean, this has a shock mount. And it's got. I mean, I boosting my own microphone back into my ears, and I can't hear any of it.
Maybe you're deaf.
Possibly.
I just don't hear it anymore. I haven't heard it.
I honestly
in a
can't
good
hear it anymore
50
compared to the
minutes.
way it used to be.
I think
very
you're all
minor.
just
It
on
stopped bugging me.
drugs.
Well, I think TJ's is very picky right now, and it sounds
Probably.
better, and that's good enough for me. So I'm
Maybe
gonna say let's get
maybe
levels and
TJ
get
should
started.
start worrying about his own microphones, huh? Maybe that.
Yeah,
because I
Yeah.
know.
to Jay.
Hey Matt, can you on the stream? It's showing the like settings right now. Can you am I turned down a little bit? Can you boost me a little bit? Am I at 100%?
You're at 91.
Yeah, boost it up because
Now you're
this
at
mic's way
99.
lower. Okay, let me get levels. So I'm gonna turn off Discord's audio so I can only listen to Twitch. I'm gonna turn the mixer, and all right, this is John talking, and let's get some levels and go to Matt.
Hey, it's Matt. I apparently live in construction hell, and Spanky's stream is fucking with my layout.
Well, because nobody's watching the stream, so I cut, and now it's TJ's turn to talk.
Did you know you can win Adventure Capitalist? It's fucking weird.
Yeah, but then your wife divorces you.
Fair.
Get
I
it?
have won
Bill
Mars
Gates,
and the moon.
topical.
Wait, is that what's happening?
Yes.
All right,
those
John's going to talk
crazy
again
kids
just so I
couldn't
can
work
hear
it out.
everybody else.
All right, let's all watch Spanky stream.
All right,
Okay.
boys. Sounds good. My new microphone's fucking hot. Pop blocking, dropping.
Oh, bummer. Ha ha.
Now, before we conclude, Mr.
I like that
President, we
I
have
had to,
one more
like,
question from Twitter.
close out the world
It
to
asks,
listen.
there are concerns over the safety of
I was
American
listening
cities ever
very,
since the space
very
colonies
hard for
attack
that
on the
weird
moon.
background
Tweet
noise that Matt was
continues.
having, but
What do you
I
have
don't
to
think
say
it's
about the
there.
theft of dangerous artifacts?
And if it
that
is
could
there,
cause
it's very
attacks like
What are
this
you
to
showing us,
happen again?
Spanky?
It's the fucking Obama.
You mean the
phone.
Chaos Emeralds? I'm going to assume you mean the Chaos Emeralds. because if
Obama
that's what you're concerned
phone.
about, I've got one of them right here.
Chaos Emeralds, Mr. President. Put your hands up and turn around slowly.
Chaos Control!
I can't hear this at all. I'm not watching the stream. That's why.
Chaos control.
Chaos control. I love that video.
Barack Obama, our 44th president of the United States. All hail, all hail.
The last president of the United States before our downfall.
How true is that? How sweet it is to be loved by you.
How sweet it is to be loved by you.
All right,
Copyright strike.
are we ready to start?
Yeah.
Welcome to Born in the 80s, episode 430. I am your host, John. That's 420 plus 10. I'm your host, John Danger, joined by my talkie co-hosts.
May the 4th be with you. Matt.
Oh, shit, that's
my name
today.
is Matt. I'm a Star Wars boy.
TJ, Mr. Old Man May.
Spanky.
TJ's old enough to remember when there were only 2 Star Wars trilogies.
I remember when the first Star Wars trilogy, there was only one set of Star Wars trilogies in the sand. That is when
that's
the
'cause
Star Wars trilogies
Obi-Wan
were carrying you.
No, that's because sand people.
No, it's because they walk in. Yeah, they walk in.
There was a really
and-
good joke there, and we all missed it.
Yeah, you know,
Can we just
we just started
rewind
the
time?
podcast. We gotta warm up. We gotta warm up. Hey, no, I bought a microphone. That's it.
I bought a zoo.
I bought a
I'm very-
boat.
I'm very happy to have a microphone that isn't a Blue Yeti.
Yeah,
because
your voice sounds less terrible than usual.
You know what is really funny about this situation is that I was watching some videos, and I watched some of H Bomber Guy's videos about the hilarious alt-right people that he makes fun of, and he referenced like a video of like how to be a voice actor, and the guy ragged on the Blue USB Yeti so much that I had to stop using it because it's not that it's a bad mic. It works great, but
there's a ceiling to what you can do with it.
Yeah, well, and I think the thing that I neglected to understand before was that when you go from USB into your computer, all of the compute power for that audio to digital analog, voice to digital to your computer is done in this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also a microphone. So like it's cheap.
Yeah.
Whereas what you get
for both of those really well, it would be way more expensive.
Yeah, because right now I bought a Focusrite Scarlett Solo, which has an XLR input, and that's like maybe like $105 with tax or something. And that is just a USB connection to your computer, and then you can plug in a bunch of analog audio equipment to that, which is how it is more expensive because you have a device dedicated entirely to turning your analog audio into digital format to go into your computer. Plus, you then have what I bought was an MXL 990, which is a extremly good beginner condenser mic, because I think want to buy a mic like Matt has, the Electro Voice RE20. There's a $400 microphone. It sounds amazing. Matt's voice sounds amazing in it.
You have to get a cloud lifter with it, and that's like I think like 60.
Those are like
$100. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, like between 60 and 100, depending on what the prices are where you're looking.
My voice sounds like shit, so making it sound clearer just makes it more clear that my voice sounds like shit.
Yeah.
So
we're actually gonna run Spanky through the lo-fi hip hop filter.
Yeah, I love chill lo-fi hip hop Spanky to study to. No, we the reason why I bought this and the reason why I did this is I've been recording this podcast for, I think this is the 10-year anniversary this year.
Happy
in a week.
anniversary.
And like a couple weeks, because it's in May is when the podcast started in 2011, I think. So this will be the 10-year anniversary. God, we got to do something for that, huh?
Yeah, we'll all get together.
We'll have to get Ham back.
Cough in each other's mouths.
We'll get Mercury. We'll get...
That's not going to happen.
Let's get Mercury and Lance together in a room.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I would actually pay to just be deafened in the corner.
I don't know if you remember, though. At one point, they arm wrestled.
I do not remember
that. In my apartment. So it came to arm wrestling at one point between them.
I have been watching some of Mercury's TikToks. It is worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Subscribe to Mercury's TikTok.
Was she up to like 150,000 people or something like that?
I don't know. She's way more popular than we could ever be.
Yeah.
The thing is that the reason why we're not popular is because we suck. But also that we don't have a hyper specialized focus.
What you mean like white dudes talking about nerdy shit is like an oversaturated market?
Almost.
Episode 0 of Born in the 80s was March 5th. Not May
March 5th.
So,
we're well past the
10-year
anniversary.
Yeah, we
about
missed
2 our anniversary.
The 10-year.
Actually, wait. When did the episode 420 come out? Because that may have been exactly.
I think
I can look it up too. I have Libsyn open now, so I can look at when it was published.
420 was January 31.
Damn it!
And who the hell knows when we recorded it?
I certainly don't know.
In my heart, 420 was the 10-year anniversary.
It looks like for episode 423, Soggy Biscuit, which was March 6th,
Ooh!
2021, was the closest we got to a 10-year
Nice.
episode
Nice.
on exactly.
So
God, I should
through
get
the
some
course
cake
of
and ice
recording a
cream.
podcast for 10 years, I have gotten to the point where I'm pissed off enough listening to my voice every single week on the like shitty microphone that it just is killing me. And I'm like, you know what? I should just buy this because you literally use this every like
6 or 7
day
weeks.
almost. Like, well, not even that. Like, that's not, but like, I mean, I use it for all sorts of other stuff, like World of Warcraft raiding, because I still do that and I'm not a wuss like everybody else who quit.
It's true.
Matt, you can come back in like 2 weeks.
I don't want to.
Matt, you got to resubscribe just so we
I've
can
carved-
Sherpa
I'm
you
like-
through Naxxramas one time.
I'm
and
like
you've seen it all.
I'm like the weary soldier. Like I've pounded all of my swords into plows, and I've carved out a life here, and I don't want to ruin that by going back.
So you're like, what you're saying is that you're like John Rambo in the like the monastery or wherever he's living in, and then they have to go and get him back.
Yep.
That's going to be you. We're going to need you for Nax.
Just
in
one
like 2
more
weeks.
job. You're gonna
One
drag me
final
back in.
job.
You
Bring him
son of a
back.
bitch, I'm in.
I don't even think we have a shadow priest right now. We had a shadow priest, but he was forced to become a non-shadow priest. So
Weak.
yeah, that's just how it works.
Weak-willed.
Weak-willed. Yeah.
Well, that's because one of the priests like left before he even got level 30.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
That
that's
TJ
why.
Priest ruined everything.
I can't believe. Well, I can believe
This
that
is-
I'm the one that's lasted the longest in World of Warcraft Classic because I was the most into it.
I
At
got
the
broken
start.
busy.
You
Yeah.
also like let gamers on the internet hold you emotionally responsible.
What do you
Like,
mean
got-
emotionally
you
responsible?
were like, I can't do it. I owe them. I'm an officer. I owe them. I can't just leave. I owe them. And then they fucking
and then
kicked me out of the guild.
and then I got fucking demoted after doing all that and like and then that guild's completely dissolving though right now, so it was bound to happen. There's too many big personalities, I think, in the leadership. You know what the funniest part is? The guy that I hated the most left immediately after I quit. God,
Who was
that
it?
sucked.
Who was it? Name them. Name names.
I'm gonna say their name started with Z, and they were the ones that would get extremely bitchy whenever they lost their world buffs.
Z.
Oh.
A real asshole.
Someone who was a main tank for a really long time, and then they said that they were going to quit the game, and then everyone was like, no, you can't quit. We did all this shit for you, and we formed this guild because you got kicked from the other guild.
Yeah.
And then
Somebody
and
who
then
would
he
get
was like,
all bitchy.
I'm just
and
gonna
then be
become a
like,
DPS
sorry,
warrior.
guys. Sorry.
we fed you all of the loot of the entire like thing, and then you just kind of gave up on tanking. And then he would constantly bitch with every single fucking loot council decision that I made. And that would piss me off. And then when I quit, he said, good luck finding a guild that will take you. Well, I was already in a guild that had just cleared Max. It's like, dude, like, you do understand, like, they had such a gamer mindset, like some of those people, not everyone, like there's some cool ass people in that guild, but like there's some people that are just
One or
so
two.
like min maxy focused, where it's like, dude, you do realize that even though I'm like the 7th best warrior in this 10 warriors in this guild, I'm still in like probably the top 20% in the entire server. Like, it's just ridiculous, like the competitiveness that they had. And it was like, just wasn't what I wanted. And I found a guild that is much cooler. They're called the Cold One Crackers. And it is a meme, if not meme, but you're required to, when you crack a beer, to have your microphone on and crack it into the microphone. And that's fun. And it is way more laid back. And it is actually fun to raid. That's what I actually enjoy about it, because we fuck around. And now we just play music with the rhythm bot while we raid. And I played a whole fuckload of Perturbator, and everybody loved it. And I felt cool. That could have been you, Matt. You could have been choosing the music.
I could have been. Just
That's okay.
play my own shit
I
on
know.
Spotify
But-
so that I get like 1/10 of a cent.
Oh, who's this? This is some great music.
Yeah, I don't know
guy.
who this is.
Yeah, I really like all the reverb on this cover of Country Roads.
I like how all of the effects cover up how bad he is at things.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
So that's my life. I bought a new microphone because I got pissed off at how bad I sound. And also I fucking recorded that professional voiceover work last year using the Yeti, and I feel really shitty that I did that. Because I'm sure it didn't sound very good.
It's fine. You can fix that in post.
Well, I was doing ADR, like additional background voices, so it wasn't like it needed to be the highest of quality because it was going to be fucking shuffled into the background noise and scenes, but it still is like I can now do much better job with this guy.
Yeah.
So
Now you can do featured extra work.
but I will say this, the key is not the microphone. You get a good microphone. The key is this. Is getting sound deadening on your walls, because it is a night and day difference. If you have echoes, especially with a condenser mic, like with the dynamic mic, it's not nearly as bad, but with a condenser mic, if you have bare walls like that, Spanky, you'll probably actually be good in that room because you got a
big couch in literally.
Well, you've got a big curtain, you've got a TV in the back that's kind of fixing that corner a little bit.
There's also literally a couch in the middle that just like
probably
blows
okay.
everything in different directions.
I think the biggest thing though that helped was getting the sound deadening behind the monitors on the wall.
Yeah,
because the voice bounce back.
Because that's the closest wall.
Fucking ugly this couch is. Also,
that is a couch
I've ever seen.
Well, that is like a new homeowner couch.
Oh no, that was my apartment couch that I got for free.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's yeah. I just bought a house, so I don't have money to buy furniture, so I'll just take whatever we got.
Yeah. I mean, I furnished my living room with like a new lazy boy and a
there you go.
And everything. But like this is my office, and I'm like, the couch is still sit-onable. I don't want to just throw it away, so now it just sits literally in the middle of my office room.
It's the casting couch.
That acts as a pretty good baffle for like stuff doesn't come in that direction.
It's the casting couch for the Sonic podcast.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yep. But you're Ace,
Julia White,
and so you're Ace. So instead of
the function of a couch,
So instead of it being like a sexual transaction. Because you're Ace, they just sit on the couch and talk to you about nerdy shit for like 2 hours.
So like, cool. What makes you want to be in this podcast? What are your references?
I watched a movie.
What movie?
Brigsby Bear.
Oh, I want to see that. That's the Kyle Mooney movie.
Yeah, it is awesome. But so the plot point is basically this kid who grew up as an adult but was kidnapped and lived in like a bomb shelter basically in a reality that his captors created for him, and then he's rescued from it, and like his the dad, who is played by Mark his kidnapper father is played by Mark Hamill, who does a show for him, and it's called Brigsby Bear, and it's like this really low budget like costume show. But basically when he gets rescued at the beginning of the movie, but he's like still like really like he's a super fan of Brigsby Bear, but it's this thing that no one else in the world has ever heard of. But he knows everything about every season of like, all the different like 40 or 50 seasons that were made. And he ends up making a movie about it. And it's a really good movie and everyone should see it, but it reminds me having that couch where people talk to me about nerdy shit. It reminds me of like a scene from that where he just goes on and on and on and on and on about the Brigsby Bear mythos. And there's this guy named Spence who is a super good character. I forget the actor's name, but he's a super good character. And the whole time you're thinking this guy is about to just like tell him to fuck off because he's a nerd. And he's like, that's awesome. Let's make a movie about it. Watch Brigsby Bear. It's a good movie.
Yeah, I heard it was really good. And I wanted to see it.
It's streaming on Showtime. So good luck streaming it.
It's on Stars if you have the Stars Prime add-on. It looks like
it's not Showtime. Get the free trial of Stars and watch the season 1 of American Gods and Brigsby Bear. Those are the only 2 things on Stars that I'm aware of that are worth watching. Except for, I think Twin Peaks might be on Stars. That's probably good.
I thought that was HBO. I don't know. You can watch that one about the time traveling lady banging the Scottish guy too.
Yeah, that one sucks. I tried it, did not like it.
So the guy who directed that movie with is friends with Kyle Mooney, and they were in like a sketch group together. But I was looking at this because I remember I read about him in the Capital Times. But Dave McCrary is from Wisconsin, the guy who directed it. I think same high school that I went to or would have gone. Yeah, Monroe, where I went to grade school. So I probably have met this person because I'm sure I went to middle school with him. But I only went to middle school in Monroe for 1 year, and I left in 8th grade. So I just had 1 year because he wasn't going to the way Monroe, Wisconsin school system is set up, because they have like, I think 20,000 people. There are 3 elementary schools, 1 middle school, 1 high school. So he was not at my elementary school. So I may have run into him once, but I certainly don't remember. If I had a middle school yearbook, maybe.
Lord and Miller, Phil Lord and Christopher Miller were producers for Brigsby Bear. They are also the people who did Solo, a Star Wars story, I think, were executive producers for that. But of course, that entire movie was kind of a nightmare for production. But they also did Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which is the best Spider-Man movie that there is. And they also did the Lego movie. And
they were the ones that got fired from Solo, and because they had cool ideas.
So. Yeah, I believe so.
And Disney was like,
man, I wonder if this guy was the same. I mean, almost the exact same age as me. But he may have been in the class above me. Now that I'm thinking about it, because he's would July of '85 versus October of '85 split us up? Would he have been in the year above? He would have been a really young kid in the year above, I think, for July. I forget when the cutoff is when they do that.
I'm August, and I think I could have gone either way.
When I was a kid, it was August, September, where the cutoff was.
Okay. Yeah. So he was probably in the year above me. So I probably never ever met this person. They probably were in the same building as me.
When I was a kid, it was July 1st because there's a guy who was 364 days older than me, and my birthday is June 30th. So
yeah,
and he was in the same grade as me.
I was right on the edge.
Same amount of calendar years old.
And so my parents decided to wait, and so developmentally I was like 11 months ahead of the rest of my classmates, and that's why I am a lazy asshole now, because stuff came easier for me.
Lord and Miller also did a movie which just came out on, they were producers for a movie which just came out on Netflix called Mitchell's versus the Machines.
That looks interesting.
It's very good. It is a very, very good movie. Now, I'm biased because there are robots in it, and the robots are really fucking good.
Year above me. He graduated high school in Monroe in 2003. I would have been 04.
So close.
So close. I never met this guy. He is married to Emma Stone.
You would have this guy's life if you were born just a little bit sooner.
I could have met him, but instead my parents decided to move to fucking Darlington, redneck ass town that I had to go to high school in, where people drove tractors to school.
I once drove a tractor to school. Actually, it was a backhoe, not a tractor, but
that was a joke. He only grew up partly in Monroe, though, so it's very possible that he only
really
was
into this guy.
I just think it's interesting that we're talking about it, and it's like a guy who possibly went to the same school as me. That's it, really.
Yeah. There was I think some criminals went to my school, so that's my high school claim to fame. People that would go on to become criminals.
Guy I graduated with shot up a gas station and killed a couple of people about a month ago.
Jesus Christ.
So closer to my old neck of the woods, there was an active shooter up in Green Bay at the Oneida Casino this past week.
Cool.
This is a super fun podcast.
Why are we talking about this?
Because
I
the
don't know,
world's
because
shit.
John is like, I have to talk about people I grew up with, and I only grew up with depressing people. So
I did not grow up with this person. I probably have
Look,
never
we
met
get
this
it.
person.
You were best
There's
friends,
a chance
and you've
that
never
we were
gotten
in
over
the
it.
same- that we were in different grades in the same middle school for 1 year before I left. It's very possible that he only grew up partly in Madison.
What if you stayed, and then
was
now
born
he
in
would be
California.
married to you instead of Emma Stone?
That's true. And I could have been an assistant director at SNL like he was. And I could have been Brigsby Bear.
you could have put the.
I am already looking like a bear.
You are a bear.
You could have put the fly on Mike Pence's head, and it could have been.
I could have been like, I'm Jim Carrey, a fly on Mike Pence's head. Isn't this hilarious? Elon Musk's going to be here.
My mother has just texted me.
Uh-huh.
May the 4th be with you.
Jesus
Gotta
Christ.
love her for trying sometimes.
She's like, yeah, he's into that Star Trek stuff.
Yeah.
You know what's really
basically.
interesting is that I feel like not that like May the 4th is anything like bad or anything, but I like to make fun of it because it's like a cringe thing to me. But it also is interesting because I feel like May the 4th was like a real thing, like before Disney owned Star Wars and everything, and now it's like a huge like we're gonna sell new toys and like put out new trailers.
Star
and
Wars
everything.
Day was like May 25th, right? Like traditionally.
Yeah, and
For
so
some
like
reason.
now, well, but I mean, like I'm talking about back before like anything existed. Like the prequels were maybe coming out at that point, but like people probably celebrated May the 4th as like that's funny. Let's talk about Star Wars, and now it's like a legitimate, like, or at least not this, maybe not this year, but I mean, like, remember years ago they would always have Disney would have like this is our new 20 Star Wars properties coming out in the next month.
Yeah.
You know,
I think
like, holy shit.
they just were too into the Marvel thing for that. But I do think
They did it
Bad
today.
Batch dropped today.
Bad Batch.
Yeah.
I watched the first episode of Bad Batch, and it was actually pretty good.
Sounds like
I
a fun
haven't watched
idea
it yet,
for a show.
but I like
That
it.
seems cool. I'm interested.
It is like the style of the Clone Wars cartoon, and the first, like the opening is really reminiscent of the Clone Wars cartoon, and then Order 66 happens like in the first 5 minutes or so, and then it becomes kind of like a
Are we the baddies?
like no the Bad Batch was not affected by Order
got
66. So then the story becomes they aren't like affected by this like all the other clones are. So
is it the same group of clones from like Clone Wars, like Fives and whatever the other names were?
Disney released the final season of Clone Wars, I believe in January. It's been pretty recently. And in that season, there is an episode which introduces the Bad Batch. They are basically clones that were tampered with to become recessive, but very amplified recessive traits. So, like, one of them is scrawny, but and like it's a very amplified recessive trait to make him scrawny. But but in doing so, they made him smarter and better at technology.
Yeah,
one of them made
because the more muscular you get, the dumber
strong.
you get. We all know that.
Basically, yes, yeah. Basically.
Dolph Lundgren does not have a master's in chemistry.
It's all just sliders. You remember that before you were born, and you were doing your character creation, and you know, slide the smartness up, and the physicality went down.
I have looked up.
John,
mango
that looks gross as shit.
John is drinking mango Pepsi Zero Sugar. Let me tell you something about mango. Everything that's mango flavored in the world, that I'm like, I want that, and I get it, and I realized what I wanted was orange flavored.
Yeah.
And to me, mangoes look like oranges because I guess they're green.
Mango is only good when
mango
you're at like an Indian lunch buffet and you get like a mango smoothie or something.
Mango chutney is delicious, like that kind of stuff.
Mango lassi,
But everything that's like mango flavored LaCroix, I'm like, okay, and I get it. I'm like, no, what I wanted was the orange LaCroix, not the mango LaCroix.
That's funny because if I saw mango LaCroix, I would be like, but I want the melon one, like.
Yeah.
For some reason, that's the flavor that pops into my head.
So I've looked up May 4 holidays and observances.
Mm.
The list includes Anti-Bullying Day, Bird Day.
You
Coal
think
miners
anti-bullying
in
day
India.
is connected to Star Wars?
Anti-bullying day. When I go to the Wikipedia page for it, it was declared in 2012 to be observed by the United Nations. It was recognized by Australia, New Zealand, Canada, France, Lebanon, the UK, and the US. It originated in Canada. It looks like very little information is given on it, except for a few people like David Shepard and Travis Pierce Price of Berwick, Nova Scotia, like people who I have never heard of in my life. Sorry, you two, if you're avid listeners of Born in the 80s podcast.
They are.
And then we've got Kasinga Day in Namibia. Don't know what that
That's
is.
that's about Kasingles.
No, actually, I have looked it up. It's not good. It is remembering the Kasinga massacre, commemorating the day when approximately 600 people in 1978 were killed when the South African Defense Force attacked a SWAPO base at Kasinga in southern Angola.
I like
So
my
I like
version
that
better.
we got from mango Pepsi to a massacre. Why? I wanted to talk about this mango Pepsi.
Because
It is.
mango
I want you to
Pepsi is
guess
like a massacre in
How
your
I
mouth.
think about it.
It is. It's Dave Brubeck Day, apparently. So if you're
Okay.
into jazz pianist, that's good. The death of Milan Radoslav Stefanik Day in Slovakia. Sorry for not pronouncing any of that right. Greenery Day in Japan.
Wait,
International
who's that Slavic guy?
Milan Rostislav Stefanik. It looks like. Let's see.
Was that the guy? No, that's not the guy. Who's the guy that drank the poison?
Rasputin.
Yeah,
Poison
Rasputin,
drink.
lover
guy.
of a Russian queen.
No,
Socrates.
Slobodan Praljak in 2017. That was the
Alexei Navalny.
he was a
Involved.
Croatian army person
And
who was like one of those like massacre guys, Bosnian war criminal.
Oh,
And
you
he
mean the
fucking-
guy who in the middle of The Hague just drank poison because
Yeah!
he was super fucking
He
guilty?
lost the case and he's like,
Well,
"Here's the poison," and he
Yeah.
died.
Yeah.
Like, wow, he was ready for that.
that guy had a
Like-
plan.
He had a
and then-
plan.
Okay, so then we've also got International Firefighters Day. And Remembrance of the Dead Day in the Netherlands, Restoration of Independence Day in Latvia, World Give Day.
These all are
Which is
made
a
up.
giveforward.com. And it has some bad grammar. It says the Chicago Tribune called it the future of medical fundraising in the internet age. It now part of GoFundMe. That's the grammar used there. So
Chicago
this is
Tribune's a rag
America
anyway.
will not fund Medicare for all. So you now have to raise money. You have to beg for it online day. So that's great. And this one is now, of course, there's Star Wars Day. We've talked about that already. And this one is my favorite of the May 4th observed holidays. World Naked Gardening Day.
Hell yeah!
Okay.
All right, excuse me,
Did you guys
guys.
do some naked gardening
Not
today?
yet. But
It was
Well, just,
established. It was established. It looks like in 2005. And it's not the May 4th always. It's first Sunday of May or first Saturday. I don't fucking know. It's weird because it
today's
came
a
up as May
Tuesday.
4th. I know it came up as May 4th, but like that's not. It's not what it says here. So that's weirding
There's
me
that
out.
Jonathan Colton song, the 1st of May. The 1st of May. Outdoor
Yeah.
fucking starts today.
Yep. There's
Oh,
that
that's
song.
fair. I mean, I am the expert of all things May, so you know.
It's
Fine.
true. TJ is 38 now.
No.
What?
48.
Oh, 40. Got it.
Yeah.
69. Oh man. I hope
Yeah,
I live to be
guys,
420 years old.
Guys,
I'm prime again.
don't buy Pepsi Mango.
Don't buy
Is it-
Pepsi
no.
in general.
It's not very good. Pepsi
No, you
Zero.
can
I
buy Pepsi.
like
in
Diet
general.
Pepsi.
No.
Wild Cherry Pepsi is a good summer drink.
Nope. Diet Coke, Coke
Wild
Zero,
Cherry
that's
Pepsi
it.
is so much better than Cherry Coke.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
agree.
I don't like Coke. I ruined cherry cherry sodas for myself when I had like a week-long sore throat last year and had cherry cough drops all day every day. Because it's exactly
maybe you
the
should
same
try
flavor.
mango. It sucks.
No,
My wife
I don't
refuses
think
to
I
drink
will.
it, so I have a 12-pack that I have been slowly getting
You
through.
should
because
mix it with some like what's the rum that tastes like coconuts, like Bacardi or something.
That actually might be good.
Parrot
No, you're talking about
Malibu. Yeah,
Malibu.
the drink that every girl drank.
Yeah.
But Malibu's
That Parrot Bay also tastes like coconuts.
Malibu. Is not even a fucking rum. It's just a liqueur. It's not even a full.
I thought it was a flavored rum.
No,
Huh.
Malibu's a liqueur.
Morgan Parrot Bay. Does that exist still? Captain Morgan Parrot Bay.
Let me just look up Malibu.
Yeah, Captain Morgan Parrot Bay coconut rum. That's the one that I always remember. The coconut one that people drank.
Oh, I have to enter my date
It is
of birth.
$10 for a fifth of this stuff. You know it's quality.
All right,
There's
I'm
a-
entering my date of birth to enter this website. I love that you have to be over 21 to go on the Malibu website. Why?
Because laws are stupid.
All right, well, I was born in 4/20/1969.
Nice.
For this
Nice.
purposes of that, I committed a felony there because I defrauded them. Caribbean rum with coconut liqueur. Never mind. So Malibu isn't a liqueur. It's a rum with
The liqueur
coconut
mixed in.
liqueur built in. So, well, when I looked, I knew it was a liqueur, but it has liqueur on the table. But it actually is that. It's 21% alcohol by volume, which I think is less than regular rum.
Oh yeah, regular kind of like Captain Morgan is 80 proof.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is 40%. So it's like half that of regular rum. So that was the. I just remember that was always the college girl drink was Malibu and
Yeah.
Coke.
I hung out with slightly poorer people. They couldn't afford the $14 fifth. They had to go for the $10 fifth. So
I went to a private school, so we could afford.
See, I went to state school, so Malibu was for the rich girls there, and then the rest of the girls drank Parrot Bay. Actually, no, all the girls drank Fireball. Whenever.
Oh my god,
Fireball's good though.
Fireball and Dr. Pepper is a really good combination.
I would legitimately have some Fireball right now if I had it.
The problem with Fireball is that you can definitely OD on Fireball because it is very sweet. And I've had too much Fireball, I think, and I don't think I could drink it. It's just like tequila to me.
Yeah,
I don't like tequila because I
can do now. Granted, I'm a dumpster, so I can do whatever. But I can only have a good time drinking Fireball if it is right out of the freezer, because that's a good feeling. Like that icy hot cinnamon. That
really reminds me of
mix it with some menthol and get all the burns.
That reminds me of like a distinct
distinct
college memory for John was going to. So I was in this chemistry class with this other guy who was cool, and I guess he seemed to like me for some reason. He was really smart, but he was also kind of a bro. I think he was on a wrestling team in high school. I don't remember. We knew each other a little bit, and I think maybe he was my lab partner. And I went to his dorm room, and he had inside his like fucking fridge like thing, like the little freezer compartment that you have, which was like the perfect size for a bottle of Fireball. And he pulled out a bottle of Fireball and was like, here, have some liquor. And this was like little 18-year-old John, who's just like, or it was probably 19. Well, I guess I turned 19 part way through my freshman year of high school or college. So little John being like, I can drink now. Like there are no people around to say no to this. Like it's just like, I know it's like technically wrong, but like in college, if you're caught drinking in your dorm, you wouldn't get in trouble. You know what I mean? Because of the way colleges work, that like police don't happen in college.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
They handle stuff internally.
Everything is handled internally.
As someone who is employed by a state school, I can tell you that they would so much have you continue to pay tuition than kick you out.
That's
you have
true.
to do something so fucking bad.
Yeah. It's like,
if they go to
you get
jail,
caught drinking,
then they can't pay us.
if you get caught drinking once, I remember as a fucking as an RA, if you caught people drinking, you would just dump all of their alcohol, and that would be the punishment.
Yeah, I
And
had
if
to
they
go
did, you
back
get
to
caught in a
the
second. Go ahead.
dorms like junior year, I think. So I was over 21, and they like this. The rules were still no drinking, so we got caught.
What
and I
dorm
had
were
to-
you in?
I don't know, whatever the new one they built was. I forget what it's called.
Oh yeah. My wife was in that dorm
My wife.
when she was a sophomore. But
Man, isn't drinking great?
But like that's so funny because I'm all 4 years, but I went to the dorm on campus that if you were over 21, they let you drink.
Weber.
Yeah, well, it was awesome. It was just like basically an apartment building on campus.
Well, they called it
Oh,
on-campus apartments. Weber and Sienna were
Yeah.
both.
It was
Yeah,
nice because
I
it
was
was like
there for
we
a
had our
while,
own
too.
kitchen and everything, so it was like you don't have to go to the cafeteria. You just cook for yourself in your
Cook
kitchen.
some hamburger helper for everybody.
Hell yeah, some pizzas.
That's where I lived with Mercury for like a summer, and she left like oranges in the cupboard until they turned into dust filled with fruit flies.
Now, I will tell you one thing I know about Mercury is that Mercury isn't the cleanest person I've ever met.
Nope, nope. But neither am I. So whatever.
You know, I was about to say I can't throw too many stones, as you can see in the background of all the boxes. And shit I
I'm
have
getting
back
better.
here.
Like
Yeah.
you're actually seeing
It was
the
fairly
messiest part of
clean
this.
when I saw you.
Yeah, you're
when I-
seeing the
when I
messiest
visited.
part of this room now.
Hmm.
So like, yeah.
I've always been pretty clean. When I lived in a party house, and I've always done this, but after drinking, I wake up at like 6 a.m. or 5 a.m. Like I always wake up early after drinking. I don't know if it's because my body's just like so fucking unconscious that it gets the normal amount of sleep it needs in like 3 hours instead of
You
7.
get super sleep.
I think it's just because your REM sleep is completely fucked.
Yeah, I don't, whatever it is, but I wake up early, and what I would do is I would like go in the garage, I'd empty all the ashtrays, I'd take the trash out, and I would clean the house. Like all these like 18 drunk people that were just passed out on random couches.
Yeah.
We just wake up,
Drink all the half-empty beer.
I would do the dishes, and then Matt's touching on the reason. Reason 2, I did all this. Reason 1 was I am a clean person, so I was going to clean it up anyway. Reason 2 was I grabbed all the liquor bottles that had anything left in it and put it in my closet.
Oh,
And
nice.
Then I always, I don't think I bought alcohol maybe twice in the 10 months I lived in that party house.
And you're
and
like,
I was-
I don't know. I guess we finished them all last night.
I was drunk every fucking day of those 10 months. I was abusing alcohol every single day. I paid for alcohol maybe twice. It was not ideal, but I got a lot of free booze from it.
Now Spanky's more in just kind of like a long-term relationship with alcohol.
Right, yeah. I went and played D&D at my vaccinated coworker's house. We finally are all vaccinated, and so we did D&D in person. And my DM was like, Spanky, you should drink more. And I did.
Wow.
And I drank so much that I was throwing up in my coworker's toilet. But I walked over. He's my neighbor, so I just walked over, and that was kind of part of it. Where I'm like, the whole time I was like, my DM was like, "You should drink more," and I'm like, "Oh, but I can't because I gotta." Wait a minute, I don't have to drive home. I can stumble my ass across my yard and pass out in my yard, and that'll probably be okay. So I did not have the self-control to stop, and I got really shit-faced. But that was fun.
Well, these are the human interactions we've missed for like the past year and a half. So this is what we've been fighting for, everybody.
It is a little different for me because so I don't like human interaction in general. And when I'm doing human interaction, I have to be inebriated somehow. And for an entire year, I've been living in the bliss of not having to be in other people's presence. And now they expect it of me again. So hate that.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. Is like I was like, well, I hate being in the presence of these people because I want to fucking leave whenever the fuck I want to leave. Like before and during pandemic, if I was in like a video call or whatever, and I was bored, I'd just fucking leave. I'm like, all right, I'm going bye. And I can't and now this is rude, and I'm back in the social contract at someone's house, and I have to like wait until enough people have enough awkward silences and then say, I guess I'm gonna. And I'm like, yeah, I guess I gotta go too. And I gotta wait for that. And I fucking hate it. I want to leave.
Let me introduce you to the concept of the Irish goodbye. You just fucking leave when nobody's paying attention.
I love the Irish goodbye.
Yeah,
it's
coworker,
me all the time.
my coworker is Irish and does that quite often.
Is the Irish goodbye like possibly problematic as a term?
I think they're white, so it's not problematic.
It depends because there's like religious persecution for them being Catholic.
Well, it's like the Irish goodbye,
so
like
I'm Catholic and not British, so I think I'm cool with the Irish.
Yeah, I think you're fine.
Okay, so it's kind of bad, but not really. Irish goodbye attributes the phrase to the potato famines when Irish fled their homeland for America. So the Irish goodbye would just be all of your friends and neighbors just kind of disappearing without a trace because they just
wait, really? It's a reference to like everybody leaving and dying
yeah,
from the potato.
I guess.
Wow.
That's why I was like, it's probably not good. I mean, it's like when like the drink
I
Irish
just thought
car
it was
bomb.
like a reference to like an alcoholism stereotype.
No.
So
yeah, I mean that's true.
I've always heard it called an Irish trash can, and when I heard of someone else
They're
call
called
it
Irish people, Spanky.
Yeah, it was. Come on.
No, when I heard it called an Irish car bomb for the first time, I was like, that sounds really bad. And they're like,
really?
no, it's just what you call it. I'm like, no, that sounds bad. So I looked it up, and Irish people are like, yeah, that's bad. Don't call it that. Also, don't call it a black and tan because that's shitty.
What is that one?
Oscar the Grouch is Irish.
Is, the British Army during the occupation when the British had like their military occupying Ireland in like the early 1900s. They shoved them over there so quickly that they did not have time to send them matching pants. So they had a black coat and just had to wear their tan pants that they wore like their regular trousers with their black like military coat, and they were the black.
Yeah, don't say pants because in England pants is underwear for some reason.
Yeah,
and plus a black and tan is just kind of gross, right?
The reason I'm going to give them pants, and is because the language is called English, and if they say that's what pants is, I mean I can say they're wrong, but I'm not from England where the language English is from, so I'm wrong.
No, they're wrong.
I'm pretty sure it's called America.
I'm pretty sure there's more people outside of England speaking English than people in England.
Oh, absolutely. Especially because India speaks a lot of English.
Yeah, especially with the whole like colonizing thing they did for a while.
Remember when England was like a superpower and now they're just
have a bunch of funny old Brexit island
complaining about how there are too many foreigners moving into their country.
Yeah.
When they used to be the foreigners moving into everyone else's countries.
Yeah, I saw.
It's fun when it happens to you, huh?
It's like a French politician said that they named their cat Brexit because he always whines to get out and doesn't know what to do when he gets out the door.
Yeah, Brexit topical. Is that still happening?
I think so.
Brexit has happened. However, now that the pandemic is over, it has pissed off people who live in North Ireland. Specifically, North Ireland loyalists who are like, fuck Ireland, let's be part of Britain, I don't know why they don't just do that, but they want to do it, but also be in Ireland. And they're pissed off because after Brexit, the Irish Sea, or the Irish Channel there, is now a international border because they're not in the EU anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So if you had anything that was to be shipped from Ireland to anywhere in North Ireland, that's international shipping. Now,
isn't that fun? now on your landmass, there's the international border that didn't exist.
Yeah.
But no, not on the landmass. That was a stipulation of Brexit. Was that it was a soft border on the landmass, but the water is is a regular ass international border. So there are lots of things where it's an island. You want to get something from here on the island near the shore to here on the island at the shore. Makes no sense to drive it up through the middle. It just
now they have to.
And now, now they either have to or they have to pay like international tariffs and like EU related trade deals and all this other and value added tax and all this other shit that they didn't have to do before. And this has made the loyalists, the non so like basically the people who live in North Ireland who wish that all of Ireland was part of Great Britain instead of being its own country. That has made them pissed off because they can't ship things to or like England or I guess it would be England would be the closest or anywhere else in the UK without it going through like international, because that's part of Ireland. Like the water around Ireland is Ireland. Even though North Ireland is in the island with you, the water is Ireland's water, not North Ireland's water. So in order for this country to ship stuff to itself, the UK to ship stuff from the UK port in North Ireland to the UK port in England, it goes through Irish waters. And this has been pissing people off. There's been bombings and shit. There's been lots of riots and tearing things down. So Brexit has officially happened. And it's over with. They're not negotiating anymore. It's done. It happened. But it happened during the all the final like dots I's cross T's happened during the pandemic. So no one was super pissed off about this because the pandemic was happening. The trade stuff was, not really the front and center. And now people are coming out of the pandemic. That's what people are noticing, and it's pissing people off. Basically free Ireland and fuck the monarchy and abolish the United Kingdom, is my opinion.
And return some of that shit you took, you guys.
I like that. I like that now that Brexit is going to be turning into, are the Scottish going to vote to be independent from England? Because I guess there's a referendum coming up in 2 days.
Indy Ref 2. They already had Indy Ref 1 and it failed. Yeah.
So they're going to vote again now that Brexit has happened and people have maybe seen how much of a shit show it is.
Here's the thing, though.
Oh, how Spanky, our Scotland and England correspondent, got the details.
So the Song of the Comic, the podcast thing that I host, is hosted by people from the UK, both in Ireland. Chris McFeely is Irish, and Dave Bulmer is English. So that's I just, from talking to Dave, I know tertiary a lot of this shit. But the thing about the Scottish independence vote is so that trans people exist, and J.K. Rowling and a lot of other British people kind of hate them right now because they exist, and that offends them.
I knew about J.K.
No. It's okay that they exist, Spanky. They just can't be. They can never be a true woman.
Right, yeah.
Because I got to protect women's rights and females' rights from trans women.
There's a lot of extreme turfiness going on.
Yeah, it's very turfy
in the UK right now.
Because, they're all just going through a bunch of medicine and surgeries and stuff to just try and take stuff from you. That's what that's about.
Exactly.
Oh, hey, these trans women is a spot of bother, isn't it?
God,
hello, Poppet.
So, in the thing about Indy Ref 2 is that a lot of Scottish independence politicians are transphobic as fuck. So there's a lot of trans people and allies of trans people who are being part of the UK is terrible, but do we sell our soul to all these very transphobic people to allow us to do that? And there's a lot of people who say, no, we shouldn't. As bad as the UK is, saying, yes, we're out of the UK and now our entire government is controlled by transphobes is worse than being part of the UK. Because it's pretty much how the UK is already, but you get like already paid for National Health Service healthcare. So like you just kind of are trading the same evil for the same evil, but without the healthcare and the national benefits. So I do not know if the second Scottish referendum is going to pass for reasons like that.
Also, I don't think Scottish people know how to read, so they're gonna have trouble voting.
One of my favorite, now this is apocryphal, it's not real, but it happens every time there's an election in Scotland. There is a law in Scotland for voting called I think it's like clear favorite or whatever. So if you it's basically, it says if on your ballot you've not followed the rules of like put an X, not a circle, but like you have indicated this one is your clear favorite, then that vote gets counted. And there's a vote that goes around that just has the listed candidates, and it goes this one wank, this one wank, this one not wank, and it says this vote was counted because it was a clear preference.
That's awesome.
That is apocryphal. That is not real, but I love it because it's a really good it's a really good thing to headcanon and pretend is real.
So this has been our European politics podcast.
Yeah.
Next, we're going to talk about France. They're probably striking about something. The cab people that drive the cabs are mad.
John, we can't hear you again. Yeah, you're nothing. Now that John's not on the podcast anymore.
Turn on Phantom Power.
This is so sad. Hey Siri, play Despacito.
Go ninja, go ninja, go. Go ninja, go ninja, go. Go ninja, go ninja, go.
That's enough.
Okay.
Oh no,
John's back.
I don't know why. I honestly don't know what is up with that. It's just like, hey, guess what? We're gonna stop being connected anymore. It's a known issue with the fucking hub. Anyway,
Yeah.
oh, one thing
Focusrite
Yeti
drivers
had
are
going.
kind of trash. So
That's what I've read. They're not the best, which is great. But I mean, whatever. Probably will get ironed out in the future in some patch. Again, I'd never updated this. I'm sure.
or you can just get some generic like ASIO for all kind of thing that might work better.
It's not that big of a deal. It's just annoying that it happens while I'm connected, rather than like maybe if I do something like I don't know. Anyway, yeah. So that's our Britain segment. I think before we get to finishing our first Byte Book Club or second Byte Book Club thing, I have to look up the G4 TV newsletter for the week because I like this segment. Ooh, you gotta.
That's the one we use every week. That's the sound effect that denotes the G4 newsletter.
No, we should get the G4, the theme that wow, wow, wow. Remember that noise?
I will try to remember to look for that.
So I have a attack of the show or like a thing for each day, but I've just been because this is the way that like people used to consume things was like I'm gonna get an email every day from this show, like, and I like 20 emails a week, but I need to get to the G4 week. E305 live is on. It's on. Wow. E3 in 2005 was in May. Weird. It's in June almost always now, but except for the last couple of years. Well, anyway, that means that Attack of the Show is not on this week. So they just have an E305 preview show here. So
what was going to be the big thing in E3 and 05?
Well, that was the Xbox 360's launch like discussion because it was coming out that fall.
And it's not just going to be a game console. It's going to be a media center. It's going to be your mother. It's going to be your lover, which is
my
strange.
God, Spanky, you're going to like this. Tuesday, May 17th. So this is kind of annoying. It's kind of hard to read through this for the podcast because their E3 05 live 2-hour show is like just generic because of course they don't know what exactly is going to be set up. But on the Tuesday, May 17th cheat episode, the cheat crew takes you on a guided tour through the world of Warcraft.
I have watched this episode of Cheat.
I have watched this episode of Cheat multiple times.
This episode of Cheat is like, after watching this, I got World of Warcraft for the first time. So like, it was in 2005, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So I did not play it in 2004. It was 2005 when I made my account, and it was because of this episode of Cheat. I remember being
it may honestly be the same for me because I didn't play until the fall until like August 2005. So it was a few months after this.
So I remember being so fucking excited to get the Westfall Farm chicken. Pet.
That's what this episode shows you how to do.
Yeah, this episode. I mean, it has a lot of stuff like that. There's the spirit healer Coiter, which is an Easter egg for a member of the development team who passed away. So if you walk around as a ghost in the Barrens, you can find a spirit healer named Coiter.
Yep.
I remember so much because I watched it. I DVR'd this episode of Cheat and rewatched it so many times because of how excited it made me to play World of Warcraft.
Yeah, they did the Lincoln's Quest stuff in this as well. They talked about but they talk about the Westfall chicken. I remember that specifically. I actually played World of Warcraft because if I remember correctly, PC Gamer in like August 05 gave you a demo disc for World of Warcraft that came with, I think, 2 weeks free. So that's how I started playing it in that fall. So, but I had seen this episode of Cheat because I do remember getting a Westfall chicken because of it, which is pretty cool. Let's see here. Beware the Shadow of the Colossus on Electric Playground. So that was right about that. And care for your pet with Nintendogs. I love Nintendogs. Let's see here. Cinematech episodes on Wednesday. Thursday they just had the E3. Yeah, so they it just basically was E3 week in 2005. Like what was I want to like look up what E3 2005 was all about. Like we know it was the Xbox 360. What was Nintendo doing? Were they even talking about the Wii at this point? I'm looking up.
I don't think so. Page. Unless they announced it at that E3.
Here we go. Shut up, IGN. I'm not gonna fucking whitelist you. All right, here we go. Here's the IGN's Wikipedia page for E3 2005. It was LA Convention Center. The big three had pre-show press conferences. Microsoft and Sony unveiled the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3 respectively. And Nintendo showed off Revolution the next day. So it was we're going to make the Wii. Because when did the Wii come out? 06? 07?
I believe it was 06.
Okay. So Microsoft's show was slightly weaker than expected. Leading up to the event, Microsoft was practically shouting from the rooftops that the 360 would be the best thing it ever created. They are definitely right there. Seem to make all the right moves, from seeding leaked images of the machine into the games community and launching a worldwide infomercial to promote it on MTV.
I remember that. It was
never mind
bad.
That the MTV special was perhaps the single worst piece of contrived forced entertainment ever to.
I know, it was so terrible.
What was that? What was that? I don't even remember that.
I just remember it being like MTV personalities talking about like
this Gears of War is going to be cool.
Listen, it's been obviously 16 years, but I remember watching it and going, not getting that. I did end up getting one, obviously, but it did not sell me for certain.
So the PlayStation, here we go. Not that Microsoft had a bad show. It's that Sony just had a really good one because Sony had the advantage of basically no information about the PlayStation 3 before their conference. So it was all brand new. And then shortly after E3 began, a bunch of PS3 posters and billboards all went up over, and everyone was excited to hear for the first time about the new Sony console. It showed off lots of gorgeous demos and impressive technical spec. That was the E3 2005 the $599 or was that in the next year?
That would have been next year because PS3 came out a year after.
It came out in the fall,
360.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking at the IGN page for that, which has a hilarious photo of Steven Spielberg and Shigeru Miyamoto playing on the Wii together. If you remember that Steven Spielberg game. Do you remember that?
The Steven
Boom Blocks?
Spielberg game.
Boom Blocks was like a Steven Spielberg produced Wii game. I don't know why that happened. Sony said that they were going to be outputting 1080p over Microsoft 360's original. Of course, the later versions of the 360 had 1080p, but the original only had 1080i and 720p. And they announced 360 had the detachable hard drive, which was pretty cool. I actually liked that because I bought an Xbox 360 arcade because of Circuit City was closing. And so I went to their closing out the store sale and got a deal on a 360. And then I bought a 20 gigabyte hard drive separate and then connected it to it. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
like the ability
so
to buy
the
a new hard
arcade
drive.
is also the best one to have gotten because of the three original models, there was the Pro, the Elite, and the Arcade. Well, the Arcade came out like 6 months later, but so the first two was the Pro and the Elite, and then later came the Arcade. The most common one was the Pro, did not have HDMI. The Elite did, but it was like $150 more. The Arcade one, however, didn't have a hard drive, but had an HDMI port. So that one,
which I didn't use because I had mine hooked up to my tube TV.
Oh, me too. But when I remember, I was playing Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts on my tube TV, my 13-inch tube TV hooked up with the same TV VCR combo that I had pretty much my entire life, that I got for like my 5th birthday in the 90s. That I played Super Nintendo on. And I was like, I can't read this fucking text. Like they were talking and I could see blurry white shape.
Yeah.
Like,
oh my God.
That's text. I can't read this. And
that was a huge problem on the 360 for people that were not on HD. Like the text was unreadable.
Yes. So games. I remember like asking if I could get, and I mean, this would have been like a 28-inch Vizio. Like it was, a shitty flat screen TV. But I was like, can I just get some TV that has an HDMI port on it? And I remember getting one like later in that year, and this would have been, I think, 2007 for me, because I did not get in 2005 at 360. It was later because Halo 3 was out, and I believe the Halo 3 was 2007. And I got a shitty LCD Vizio, and I like plugged in, I put in Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, and I was like, holy fuck, you can like read text on these kinds of TVs. Like it blew my mind.
I had a much bigger TV than that. I had a 32-inch tube TV that I hooked up mine to in my room, but like even then it was still really difficult to read any text. There were some games that had special text for depending on what aspect ratio you had it set to. So if you had it 4:3, it would work, but a lot of games didn't, and you would just be like, well, I can't read the subtitles.
Yep.
But God, man, the 360 was such an amazing console. I had fucking GameFly. That was when I was unemployed, when I lost my job in the 2008 financial crisis. So I was unemployed for like 9 months. So I played a fuckload of 360 games just because I was nothing else to do. I didn't have an HD. I guess I could have hooked it up to my PC monitor. I don't know if that had an HDMI though.
DVI is compatible with HDMI.
I think it does.
It's the same protocol.
This monitor I'm pointing at that has the camera on top of it's the monitor that I got in 2008. So It probably is. It's not my Ultra. I have a Dell Ultra Sharp here that's over here, and it's a fucking great monitor. But the old one is some cheap Dell $150 one that I got when I got my first gaming PC. But yeah, like the 360 did the original PlayStation 3 come with like RGB cables?
And they all had HDMI. Like there wasn't a PS3 that didn't have HDMI.
No. I meant like what I'm saying is that I think that the 360 may have been the last console that came with. Well, I guess the Wii probably did too with the old VGA cables.
No, every version of the
You
PS3
mean
came with VGA cables.
Component.
Composite.
Composite?
No.
Composite VGA.
No, it's component.
It's component. I'm almost certain it's
composite is the yellow one.
Yeah.
Because
you guys talk about the other one? Okay.
That is because it's a composite.
I'm talking about the old ass yellow, white, and red.
Yeah, so I'm right.
Yellow is composite because it is a composite signal of.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the old school yellow. No. I'm talking about the fucking old school ass. Hook it up to my fucking 1992 television or VCR. That's composite. And
the first mainstream console that came with an HDMI cord is the Wii U.
I was gonna say,
yeah.
So the Wii U was probably the first console to not have a packed in
composite
at launch, a packed in composite.
Yeah.
Because everything else, like, because the 360 had a packed in, it had that giant dongle composite thing where it had like almost like an S cart, like fucking like giant hole in the back that you would hook it into, and of the 360, there's this big hole, and then out came the composite cables, and I think they also had one for component that didn't come with it. That would do, I think, 1080i. I think that's what, because Adam Ham, former podcast host, sometimes guest, he had an HD TV tube TV, a 720p tube TV, which was fucking insane that existed.
Yeah,
widescreen Sony Vaio 720p, and so he had to use the composite cable cord to connect it because I don't think that had an HDMI port at that point, which is hilarious. And that fucking TV still might be in his house. Was the heaviest thing I've ever lifted in my entire life.
The heaviest TV I ever lifted. This was a couple years ago. I was at the surplus warehouse at the university I work at, and they have lots of like ancient garbage in there.
Yeah.
And I found a CRT television. 16:9 with HDMI, and this was from 2009, and I needed it. I had to have it, so I was like, "Can I have this?" And they're like, "If you can fucking carry it out of here, you can have it." And that motherfucker weighed 1,000,000 pounds. Like I had to get a dolly to roll it in my apartment. I tried to set it on this bookshelf over to my left here, and completely ruined the bookshelf forever. Because it was just too fucking heavy to sit on this bookshelf. It didn't work. I couldn't make it work. I took it apart. I like recapped.
Oh, sorry. It was actually a Sony Triniton. It was 1080i. God, I certainly hope Adam never threw that away because holy shit, they are on eBay for an insane amount of money.
The problem with those is that like the way that cathode ray tubes are just designed to work, they do not do as well the wider, like the closer to square you get, the better that they are at displaying a picture. The more oblong you make them, the more like rainbow effect you get at the edges, and the like because the magnets used to align them. I should
tell Adam that he should eBay his TV. Basically. It is actually kind of insane how expensive, if you go on eBay, CRT TVs are now. There's something I'd tell you is if you have a CRT TV, hold on to it because they're going to be worth a lot of money someday because they are not making them anymore.
Also, hold on to it because it has arsenic in the glass, and if you throw it in the garbage, you are putting arsenic into the ground.
Well, yeah, correct. And so what you're supposed to do is trade those in. Yeah, this is it. It was Adam's
TV.
TV. Was the Sony? Sorry, it wasn't. It was Sony Wega 34-inch 1080i.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see how much this weighed because I wonder if it's on the spec sheet.
Has to be over 100 pounds.
It was the heaviest thing I've ever lifted, and I'm sure I've lifted things heavier than this, but just the way that CRTs are too, where the weight is distributed very heavily in the front, because that's where all the glass is just like impossible to carry this thing. I remember they don't have the weight on the specs here, which is insane because if I remember correctly, Adam had to have a specific, like they came with like a built stand for them because it was so heavy that it wouldn't be able to, like, you wouldn't be able to. Yes, here it is. Weight 190 pounds.
Yep.
Ooh.
That is more than an average weight US man weighs.
Yep.
Like, oh my god! Just imagine lugging like fucking Matt Hag up a fucking flight of stairs. That is what that was. Unfortunately, yeah. So I hope he does have that because apparently they sell for a lot because they're very rare. Because I mean they didn't make them for very long because it was at that point it's just kind of weird to me that there was a CRT HD TV. There's so few of them. But I mean, yeah, I mean, it makes sense. You could do it. They were just really expensive and huge. I mean, they had projector HD TVs. Do you remember projector TVs?
Oh,
I
yeah.
do. They
don't make them anymore, right?
Bad. Well, no, of course not. They were pretty fucking bad for gaming.
We
but
played
watching movies on them was really cool.
So we used to go. Adam and I used to go to.
Rockman was fine because you could set the latency, and it.
Exactly. And so. Yeah, this guy had like the MIDI drums and everything set up, and he had this like room dedicated to Rock Band, and we would go every Saturday and play fucking tons of Rock Band with a bunch of people and drink, and it was awesome. And we'd play like board games and shit too. Like it was really awesome. Like this guy was really cool. He moved to I think California, unfortunately, so we stopped hanging out. But really, he got me into Game of Thrones. I borrowed the first book of Game of Thrones from him, like probably 3 or 4 years before the TV show came out, and I got way into that. But it was he had like just like you could get an enormous TV. That was like the why reason people got projection TVs, because it would be like enormous was like a 60-inch TV.
Yeah.
Which is now like pretty typical for a lot of HD TVs.
Yeah.
Like 60 is about not the average.
I remember.
Average is probably still about 50 inches, but 60 isn't a huge TV. It's just a large TV.
It was cool because projector TVs, they were big. And they weren't particularly high quality, but they were big, and it was the closest. And it was the close. And part of them being big was they could put good speakers in them, like good home theater speakers in them, because they didn't have to like put it inside of like my OLED TV, which is my OLED TV is so thin that I'm mad at it for being so thin, because every time I have to move it, I feel like I'm just going to break it. It's like I get that it's a technical feat and that's cool and all, but please, God, it's going on my wall. I do not give a shit that it is 2 inches for like closer to the wall than it would have been otherwise. Make it sturdy. Fucking G's. So the projector TVs, like you could have them in and this happened at not the party house I lived in, but the same people, the house they lived before that. There was a living room with a projector TV, and like there's beer cans all over it. I mean, like those things could take a fucking beating. They were perfect for a party house because you could just put on like GoldenEye 007 and like 14 drunk people could just fall all over the place and land on the projector TV. And like eventually the lamps would get misaligned. You just have to go in there and shake them around until it looked right again.
I can't even like look up rear projection TVs anymore.
Well, yeah,
like
they stopped making them in like 2000.
If you look up projection TV, all you get is projectors for sale.
Yeah.
Rear projection TVs. Let's see. There's a Vizio. When did this come out? This is from 56-inch. Yeah. So they were DLP rear projection. And so one of the awesome things about them is they were actually a lot lighter than you would think for how big they were.
Yeah, they were,
because they only have parts like 2006.
Yeah, there was lamps on the bottom, then there was mirrors, and then there was a screen.
Yeah, so it was pretty. I mean, it was decently heavy. 130 pounds for this 56-inch Vizio HD TV projection. But it's a 56-inch. So like Adam's 30-inch TV was almost 200 pounds. This is, 50 pounds lighter and way bigger.
Yeah.
So
And plus, you can take
1080i.
the lens thing off and start fires with it.
just
The big
yeah.
the big screen part was like a big lens, and yeah.
God, that was so awesome. I just remember like the viewing angles on it are really bad too. You have to basically be directly in front of it, or else
Well, the
it's just
screen,
completely
yeah,
washed
and the
out.
way that the screen compensated for that, like the screen
Yeah.
had ridges in it, so
Yeah.
the more you went to the side, it would just turn black. Because if it tried to like spread the light evenly, it would be blurry. It'd have a lot of
Yeah.
bloom issues. So
Yeah.
like it was like it only looks good from the front anyway. So put the ridges like the
It's just
texture
such a
on it.
thing that like I remember being way into talking about back in the early aughts, mid aughts, would just be like viewing angles on TVs and all these things, and it's all these things that are completely standard now. Like, oh yeah, everything's got this, everything's got this. What what's crazy though is that like TVs are coming out now. They have like 2 HDMI ports. Who the fuck?
Yeah.
Why? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Well,
Like,
You gotta plug in your Fire.
you have
Stick
to have
and your Google
minimum
Chrome.
4 HDMI for me to buy the TV, because
Well, I
one
mean-
goes to cable, one goes to a streaming box, and I definitely have more than 2 consoles. So even 4 is too few, but 4 is at least manageable to me.
So me, and I would say most people with home audio systems have a big giant black box like that right there that you probably can't see very well on it.
I have one, yeah.
And that thing has 7 HDMIs on it. So I plug that one into my TV, and then I've immediately grown, that TV probably has 3. But I've grown that 3 into 10 or into 9 just by plugging that black box into it.
When you say black box, what is that's the
It's a
home
receiver.
theater speaker? Oh, it's a
It's a
receiver.
It is
Oh boy. Now the audio is going to get real good.
It is a Sony STR DH590 multi-channel audio video receiver.
Got it.
So yeah,
I don't have that. I have a
You should
sound
get one of those.
bar. I have a sound bar and subwoofer.
Well, you bought yourself that fucking microphone. Maybe you get yourself a Sony DHR.
No,
Buy.
I spent it all on
Consume.
microphone. I don't have. There's no more government checks coming. The virus is over.
We'll see
Although I
about
did
that.
learn something exciting today about this. I don't know, Spanky, have they talked about you returning to work?
I've already gone back to work.
So you go into work. You don't work from home now.
I work 2 days a week in the office. For now,
And 3 at home.
3 at home. Yeah.
Is that different than before?
Yeah, I used to be fully remote, but I got a new job, so it's because I got a new job.
So you were fully remote before the pandemic?
Yeah. Well,
didn't know
no, we were talking about it. The pandemic forced it to just happen.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying.
And
Is
then
that your job would have been.
Yeah, that team that I was on
Mhm.
will into perpetuity after the pandemic remain fully remote. My new job isn't.
With my current job, we had to switch to remote, and it is now sounding like it's going to be flexible, and it sounds like my boss is hoping for people to come into the office, but it does not sound like it will be a requirement of us. So it sounds like she said, hopefully people will be able to come to the office for anywhere from 1 to 4 days a week. And to me, that is, I will be coming into the office 1 day a week.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, that's my new boss was like, yeah, we're still trying to figure out the scheduling, but I'm thinking, 1 to 3 days a week. And I'm like, you said 1 to 3. I heard 1, but I'm new, so I'm gonna do 2 until I feel like I have enough like capital in this department to just say I'm gonna do 1.
The thing is, just working from home is just so much better for a lot of jobs and a lot of roles. Like specifically the job that I do, the job that my colleagues do, you don't really need to be on site to do the QA stuff that we do.
So
Like,
one of
there
the
are
things,
people on site with the jobs to do that, you know.
one of the things that I think is dumb is that I have been going. So I started on Monday, and I'm doing 3 days in the office this week, but that's because I have meetings with new people.
Yeah.
But after that, it's gonna be 2, and I have had meetings both days, both yesterday and today, on Zoom in my office at work. Literally, even if I go in, my meetings, if they're gonna be on Zoom because they're with people who work remote full time, what the fuck is the point of me going in? Because I now work as a systems administrator. So there are actual physical data center computers that I will end up touching at this new job.
You're
Whereas
not
my
a
old job,
systems
I was a
analyst?
programmer. Huh?
You're not a systems analyst?
No, I'm not a systems analyst.
That's what Martin Prince wanted to be.
I know.
Systems analyst.
Yeah, I send that clip to all of my friends who are systems analysts. And as a programmer, there were no physical machines for me to touch. Now, as a systems administrator, there are physical machines for me to touch. So, like, it makes sense that I will go onto campus on hardware days, on upgrade days, that kind of thing. Yeah. But I think it's going to be a hard sell for management to say, hey, you need to come in for meetings. And I'll be like, okay, so meetings with people who work remote and I just have to Zoom in my office? Because that doesn't make any fucking sense. If the meetings are going to be with people who are remote, I can be remote.
That's the way it is, particularly for me too, especially with the business group that I work for in my company. Is all of the stuff that I work for is remote. Like, everybody else is remote. All of my meetings are over the internet when I was in the office anyway. So there's like no reason for me to be there other than maybe one day a week. Okay. I don't know. Sleep. My parents are calling.
Put it on speaker.
Hello? Oh, hey there, John.
Oh, hey, John.
Mm-hmm.
This is good. This is a good podcast. We're good at this. 10 years.
Okay.
How about that?
Weren't we talking about G4?
I don't know. I think that it was a light week for G4.
Are you able to eat dinner out tomorrow?
We got into HDMI and then TVs.
We're in.
Do you want to talk about more tragedies, like more massacres and stuff?
Sure.
For lunch.
Oh, lunch.
There is an additional thing on May 4th.
Sorry, you said for lunch?
Mm-hmm.
The May 4th movement was a Chinese anti-imperialist cultural and political
I will have to get back to you because I don't have my work
schedule
schedule up.
in Beijing on
I think I'll be okay.
May 1919.
Lauren won't be able to go.
In Chinese nationalism.
Unless you want to go to the Tad Drive Culver's.
No.
If there was any massacres.
Can you get the door?
Can you check massacres?
I'll let you know tomorrow morning,
the 5th?
All right.
Just keep going day by day.
Yeah,
go backwards. Gotta go to the 3rd.
3rd.
Yeah, of course.
May 3rd.
All right, sounds good.
Just Google massacres on this day.
Bye.
Let's see.
Look, it sounds scary to say this, but when you're of the age where your parents are of the age when you get a call at 10 p.m., sometimes you're like, oh boy, what is this call going to be? Did somebody fall down the stairs? What's happening? No. I'm possible. I might be able to go out to lunch. And it's like, oh shit, all of my family is vaccinated. And my aunt, whose birthday it is tomorrow, is vaccinated. So, it's just kind of crazy to think that we're going to go to risking it all to go eat at the Olive Garden.
Let me die at Hooters.
Let me die at Hooters.
But, sorry, we were talking about, before we get to Cora to end the episode here, we talked about Sony and Nintendo and then got into weird cathode ray tube HD TVs and stuff that people had. Nintendo unveiled their Revolution, later renamed Nintendo Wii, still in prototype. It was in jet black. I don't even remember what the Revolution prototype looked like, but
it looked exactly like the Wii, but it was black.
Got it. They stressed backwards compatibility with the GameCube, which it had, until my wife bought hers.
Spoilers, it was a GameCube.
It was like a GameCube and a half. Anyway,
It didn't have very much more processing power than a
it had the ability to download a bunch of Nintendo software, past, present, and future. So they talked
remember
about
the
like
Check Me Out channel?
okay.
The-
I'd never had a Wii when it was popular. We got a Wii like well after the 360 was out and everything.
The
but my
Wii
wife
channels were
wanted
fucking rad. There was a weather channel.
I know there was the Wii Vote channel. I remember where you would just like
so
vote on dumb
Check
shit.
Me Out was like everybody votes.
Yeah.
But it was you vote on me how cool it is,
Nintendo
and people
had
would
some
just
really-
do their best to make Dr. Robotnik.
People had just like Nintendo had really weird internet stuff that was actually kind of cool back in the day.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing I want to get TJ's input on because TJ's the fucking pro here. They also committed that the system would launch with a brand new Super Smash Brothers game. Did that come out at launch? I don't think it did.
No, not at launch. It was probably
Smash Brothers delayed yet again. Love it. And then they talked about the GameCube game Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, and they showed off the Game Boy Micro for the first time. Remember the Game Boy Advance Micro that they put out after the DS had come out? Like they were like,
well, at that point, they weren't sure that the DS was going to replace their handheld market.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So they were talking about this being a third line. They're calling it like the lifestyle system. Yeah, it was a thing.
Cool. Anyway, that's pretty cool. Oh, of course, the PC gaming stuff that they talked about was The Witcher, the first Witcher game, D&D Online, which still exists, by the way, but it's called Neverwinter Online, I think now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit! I think I played that for like a week.
I played a load of D&D Online with Adam. It was actually kind of fun because you would do like dungeons that would have like traps and shit in them, and that was so like imagine like a WoW dungeon, but with like traps that could happen and stuff. Like it was actually pretty cool.
D&D Company pretty fun.
Company of Heroes, not to mention the upcoming Half-Life 2 Lost Coast and Half-Life 2 Aftermath. I don't know what that is. That's just Half-Life 2 Episode 2, I'm assuming.
No, it's
I don't know what Half-Life 2 Aftermath is, but anyway, here's the thing. He said, yeah, so we can't do 1080p output, dual 1080p outputs or Blu-ray discs, but I like my little gaming PC and the things that come out for it, which I think is funny because this was a point where maybe PC games weren't way ahead of where the consoles were going to be, but I'm sure that changed pretty soon. But this, of course, was the infamous press conference that had Will Wright talking about Spore.
Yeah.
I believe this was the
I watched
the
it.
infamous. I in wonder about how amazing that game looked. Half-Life 2 Aftermath
was episode 1, but
was episode 1.
Lost Coast was a tech demo.
Yeah. Spore press conference. I just want to make sure it was that one.
Spore was gonna change my life, and then I never played it.
Everybody thought Spore was going to change their life.
What? Okay, when I search Spore press conference, Will Wright, or without putting Will Wright, it's like some fucking Korean website. It was 2005. That was it. It wasn't, I think, the infamous one. I think the infamous one was the GDC, the Game Developers Conference, which was I think a month or two beforehand. But they did more stuff that people were still getting mind blown about that E3. So, god damn, dude, that was the infamous press conference.
Spore ended up being a fun game, but to everyone who saw the press conferences of like the promises they were making about it, like it's the quintessential like never oversell your product, because it's so, those press conferences so oversold what Spore was going to do. And when the product came out, it did so few of those things and looked so different.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, it was like originally sold as like, this is like the like a sim galaxy. Like there was just an entire galaxy of creatures and things that you could evolve from the tiniest of single-celled organisms all the way up into a space-faring, galaxy-conquering race that would turn into some crazy like 4X space, a simulation game, and it just wasn't. Everything was way more basic than.
Yeah, it was a penis monster created.
Yeah, you could make dick monsters.
And people did.
And people did.
Boy, people did. I loved Spore, though. It was fun. You make little guys.
Yeah, that's what I said. Like, I like Spore. It's just that to everyone who saw the press conferences, it was not what they wanted.
Yeah, and it reminds me a lot of like No Man's Sky. Like,
yeah.
Just although to be fair to No Man's Sky got a lot better, but it launched poorly. So it was not what people wanted.
I didn't have a friend. I had a roommate at the time, who was super in, like, he was writing. He was like, I don't know if he's still like this anymore, but he was, he didn't have opinions that weren't on Reddit. He didn't have a personality that wasn't whatever Reddit was upvoting. Like, all he did was Reddit. Like, that was he was Reddit the person, and all of the bad things about that too. And
he's just really concerned about ethics.
Also, all of the three good things that about that, I guess, but all the bad things. And he was so, like, he would get physically angry at me for saying that No Man's Sky was gonna be shit. and I'd be like, they're an indie team. They can't fucking do that. Like, no. They got it. I've seen the screenshots, the dev blog. I'm like, I don't care what you've read. They can't fucking do it. I'm a programmer. I know how hard that is. It's an indie team. They can't fucking do that. And the game came out.
People like the Kool-Aid hard.
Oh yes, and he was an evangelist. He like pre-ordered it for other people. He bought like merch and fan-made merch and all sorts of stuff. The game came out, and of course he was in denial for a good.
I took a day off for that game.
Yeah, he was in denial for a good couple days, and then the third day he just came down to my bedroom and knocked on my door, and he's like, "No Man's Sky is a piece of shit." And I was like,
"Yeah,
dude, I fucking told you. I fucking told you it was gonna suck ass."
And I don't necessarily like it. They fucking overpromised, and it was bad, and they did a really bad job of. I mean, to be fair, like Sean Murray, who became the face of that company during that, is not a PR guy. He's just a fucking programmer. But he got put in front of everyone, and he was like gonna play coy, like, and they'd be like, "Well, is this a multiplayer game?" And he's like, "Yes." And it's like, well, it's not actually. It is a single player game that connects to a multiplayer server to get data from, but there's no actual. There is now, but when it launched, it was not that way. Like, it was just all this stuff he's being super coy about, and like,
is this an MMO? And it's like,
he's like somewhat. And it's like, it isn't.
It's unlike any MMO you've ever seen. It's like, because MMOs connect you to other players. That's why it's unlike. But
it's just kind of like it was not good. But they did the right thing. They took all the money that they earned from that, like pre-orders and all the Sony deal and everything, and put it back into their staff and redeveloped the game into becoming something that actually is kind of fun to play now. Like, it's not bad.
I don't know if that's the right thing. I think the right thing is to take all of that gamer money, give it to your employees, and then fuck off forever.
Well, no. What they did was they took all the gamer money, gave it to their employees, and said, "Hey guys, you want to continue making this game that you enjoyed making?" And they all stayed. I mean, they got to do what they wanted to do. It's good for them. Like, it worked out. But
why is that game
it's just
still
kind of
$60?
Well, it's not. Just wait for it to be. It'll be like $10 on like a Steam sale. Also, if you have Game Pass, I think it's on there. So,
all right.
Again, just buy Game Pass. Like, it's ridiculous how many games are on Game Pass.
And you'll play $0 of them in a month, and then you'll have spent that $15 to have a library of games you never played.
Yeah, it's just like a donation to whoever owns Game Pass.
Microsoft. Well, Bill Gates needs it now.
Yeah,
it's true.
He's losing half his money.
Melinda dumped his ass. He's like, he just fucking.
No, he was already rich when he got married. So he didn't Bezos it, so he probably had a.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he had a fucking prenup. So what was?
He's gonna start banging the queen now. So
we got to talk about Korra.
Cora,
So,
badoop boop.
Cora fights Mecha
Hitler.
Mecha Hitler.
I mean, kind of.
What's her name? Kiaria lady.
No, Kuvira.
Kuvira.
I forgot how much of a stone cold fox Kuvira is.
You have
Kuvira
a type.
Maybe I just have a type, and that
You
is
like very
evil
severe
villain lady.
women.
Hot evil villain lady.
I think Bolin and Mako's grandma, if she'd spent a couple months at the gym.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say what's her Beifong, Lin Beifong's sister, or maybe Lin Beifong. She could probably step on.
No. But Toph Beifong, I mean, she's the old granny that could
from Korra, not Toph Beifong from Avatar.
No. The 80-year-old one from Legend of Korra. Well, I guess she would actually be younger than that. So if it's the series is 50 years after.
Are you more into Toph or Katara?
So we got to talk about the final 5 episodes here. We're getting late on time, so I don't want to. We got to do a little bit of justice, but we're kind of at the end here. So, chapter 9, I think episode 9 we can kind of skip because it's like the final episode before things actually begin to happen. That is what Fire Lord Izumi and Tenzin are like. No, we're not going to actively attack Kuvira. Even though Bolin and Varric show up and are like, hey, we're not bad guys anymore. Also, they've got a super weapon. And everyone's like, nah. And then the fucking spirits go crazy because the Kuvira's people are harvesting all the spirit vines and that's making all the spirits go crazy. And I think they kidnap a whole bunch of people.
Yeah.
And Jinora. And so Korra needs to go to the spirit world, but of course, she can't connect to the spirit world because she's still fucked up from Zahir. So she goes to Zahir in prison. And Zahir's actually kind of like, yeah, we're on the same side here. Kuvira's awful. She's the type of thing that I wanted to not happen. And I'm sad that our choice to overthrow the monarchy just made a worse monster, basically. And that. And then, so she's like, oh, okay, cool. She get past your past trauma. Stop thinking about the past. Stop having PTSD, basically. And that's how it works generally, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you just kind of get over it.
You just go talk to your abuser, and then you're fine. You just have to face your abuser publicly, not privately. You have to do it in public, where we can criticize you for it.
And then that's it. Okay, and so there's chapter 10, Operation Beifong, because this is the secret mission that Bolin joins Opal and Lin and Toph. Yeah. Toph joins them. That's it. To rescue her sister and her twin boys and her husband and the fucking moody teen Beifong, the Art Beifong. And so they go to the Vine Energy Super Cannon testing range, basically, which is looks awesome because it's a giant fucking cannon on a rail, thing,
it's
very
a
World War
laser.
II. Yeah, exactly. It drops the beat hard.
Wow.
Toph and Lin fight a bunch because Toph's kind of a bad mom, but also Lin's a bit stuck up. Everyone's got problems. Zhu Li turns out the greatest twist that you never saw coming was it turns out Zhu Li was trying to fight from the inside and was loyal to Varric the whole time, obviously. And it turns out she's been doing little things to slow the development of the weapon, fucking up things, and so they take her and the family out into the city that they're going to blow up with the cannon, basically. Yep. Some real supervillain shit. And this is the thing that
no, they don't take the family out there.
It's not the family. It's just Julie and
Yeah.
Okay. And it's like some real supervillain shit like that they're starting to do.
And
it's just
isn't this the point whenever Kuvira's boyfriend is like, don't you think
yes,
this is a little bit fucked up? Like, I mean, I'll fire if you tell me to, babe, but isn't this kind of fucked up that we're about to kill this fucking woman who helped us build the railgun? Like, isn't that kind of fucked up? But he's still on board. He's still like, I'll still die for you.
Yeah, so it's kind of like yeah. And that's probably one of the things that I dislike a little bit about the season. And actually they actually address it at the end of the like when Kuvira is defeated and Korra and her have a little talk about things. But like we've seen in the previous seasons of like the Avatar like thing is that you've had a lot of villains that are very shades of gray, somewhat correct with some of their views. Like the Equalists are somewhat correct that benders kind of have way too much political power and control a lot of people because they're basically just superheroes that can like do anything, and the little people get fucking trampled on. And that's kind of sucks, but taking away everyone's superpowers is not the right way to do it. And season 2 was a little bit super villainy, but that was more of a.
But it was also like spirit, like this humans and spirits living together ended up being a good thing. Like,
yes, he was like, we need to have
open was the correct decision. It turns out it was,
but the guy was
he was a super villain.
Yeah, and then of course season 3 we had
monarchies are bad.
Zahir, which was basically like power to the people, anarchy. Like let's get rid of the monarchies and these, like, because the Earth Kingdom was straight up a bad place to be. I mean, it was awful. Like you've seen that in Avatar, you saw it in Korra. It's just a fucking nightmare, like monarchy. So it needed to get changed. But killing the queen and not having a plan after that, turns out it didn't work out. It was a bad
turns
plan.
out when you just like create a power vacuum, it doesn't really
make
great.
things better. Yeah. And then in this one we just have Hitler. Like I need to control everything, like, and throw people in prison camps.
Now, what I'll say is that I feel like they didn't follow the same archetype, but it's more like you've got good people following the obvious like bad. Like you've got Bolin,
that's true,
and her husband. So like it's kind of like it's not the person being bad, but also having a point. It's
like they have a noble goal,
bad, but
the
like
wrong way.
People who have noble goals are attaching themselves to the bad person because of how much power and potential the bad person has. So they went kind of a different direction with it. I think it's a little bit better as far as like having a final showdown goes. But I'm also extremely biased about the final showdown.
Because it's fucking giant robots?
Because it's giant robots.
Well, a giant robot and a bunch of little robots.
A giant robot, and
a super fighting robot.
And that gets to the point where I don't know if this is the next episode yet or not, but it's where they like Toph and all them bust out everybody, and Toph is like, all right, I'm done.
I'm out.
All the shit. But you guys do you, and then I forget if they rescue Julie or whatever. But Julie's like, all right, so they got this laser and they're coming by train. So let's just go back. We got like a week or whatever. We can just chill.
We got 2 weeks.
The Airbenders, 2 weeks, whatever. Then the Airbenders are like going out scouting or whatever, and they're like, I don't remember. It had to have been the Airbenders because they came back very quickly.
Yeah.
But
they just see like the
shit.
charred remains of an outpost.
Yeah, and they're like, oh fuck, what the hell? And it turns out that they start getting blasted at by a fucking bipedal Ultraman style giant robot blasting at the fucking Airbenders.
It's literally
like,
a weapon to surpass Metal Gear. I mean, it is Metal Gear. Like is what this becomes. There's a giant walking like nuclear
equipped walking battle tank.
I mean, it's literally what it is.
On Shadow Moses Island, it's Metal Gear.
But instead of a nuclear equipped, it is a giant fucking laser that blows up shit.
Equipped.
Which is pretty powerful. So it's attacking is earlier than expected. It's on a giant mech, which you hadn't seen until this point. And basically, Raiko surrenders, and they get the whole city to evacuate as quickly as they can. And I think that is why in the next few episodes, when the city is annihilated by a giant robot battle, nobody's dying because everyone's evacuated.
The plan is,
yeah,
we have to attack Kufira, like make her emotionally unable to like blow the city to hell. So they do this plan. I believe Boomy is the mastermind behind the plan.
Oh yeah, they capture Batar Jr.
Yes,
Yep.
They basically have who is it? That's the metal bender that makes herself like a suit. Or no, I'm thinking of you're thinking of Avatar. When
you're thinking of Avatar, yeah.
Sorry.
The metal bender that gets in the blimp is Korra.
Like, yeah, you're coming with me, man. And then they like orchestrate it so that it's the president that I'm thinking of, or the president of Republic City is like, where's her boyfriend? I'm literally here to meet her boyfriend. Like, where the fuck is he at? And Korra has abducted him.
Yeah.
And by this point, they're in the city. I believe they have a radio call with Korra or with Kuvira.
With Kuvira.
They're like, all right.
And the attack, we've captured your husband and the creator of the mech.
They tried to beat the shit out of him.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm not betraying her.
Yeah.
So they're like, okay, well then she probably won't betray you either. We're gonna go ahead and tell her that you're here. So they put him on the radio, and he's like, listen, babe, you can't blow us up. I'm over here. And she's like, I love you.
Because
she's like,
I'm going to take that into consideration. I thought about it. Points giant laser at them, and they're like, "What?" And then she just fucking
levels the building. And honestly, this would have killed them if it wasn't a cartoon show where that's the main characters are, because it drops an entire fucking warehouse on them.
Yeah.
And
it's the Varric's mech Varric and Sato's mech warehouse thing where all their things they were going to use to fight back are.
So her boyfriend now no longer likes her very much, but is also, I think, close to death. Like, he gets hurt pretty bad. And wakes up like in a bed on somewhere else. And he's like, oh my God, she just fucking lasered me. And they're like, yeah, she's a crazy bitch, obviously. And then they bust Asami's dad out of jail because they're like, we gotta fucking get some mechs. And then
they had the prototypes back at Asami's office.
So like we have to do something here. And they've got those hummingbird mechs. And they're like, we can try and make these work. And then there's a cool ass montage with Asami and her dad putting shit together, which makes you know for 100% fact that her dad is about to fucking die.
Yeah. So we got to talk about this. Yeah. He's like, you know what? We need all the geniuses we can get here. And he's prison. He's like, all right, I want to make it right. And he, makes the point that he thought he was doing the right thing before, but he realized he was wrong. Like, you kind of forgive the guy at this point. You're like, he's been in jail forever and he didn't really kill anyone. They just, anyway.
Well, he did give mechs to the people who were killing.
Yeah,
him.
Whatever. But anyway,
so did Tony Stark. Okay,
fucking the U.S. government's given so many weapons to.
Yes, but Tony Stark also gave his life to save literally half of the entire universe. So,
anyway,
Sato
spoilers. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, come on! You had your chance.
Yeah, I'll see it eventually.
So
I already know that scene anyway.
So there's a couple problems I have with this. So that they bring up the point where they're like, we can't metal bend this mecha tank.
We're in the Avengers.
It's like platinum or something.
Because it's made out of platinum. Now, platinum is the densest metal of all metals. One of the densest, if not the densest.
So they talk about this in first season.
It would weigh so much that it could not physically be possible.
Well, if it's powered by Spirit Vine energy, I'm assuming that's
fair enough.
It up.
But
the
that much platinum does not probably exist in the world. Like, it is. I wish they would have just said, because they talk about metal bending is you're bending the impurities. They could have just said, oh, it's purified metal that can't be metal bended. But they had to go with platinum because it sounds cool.
I mean, especially because if you're bending the impurities. Yeah. Theoretically, you could have metal benders bending out all of the impurities
John, we lost
John,
you again.
you're gone. This is a fun.
Still gone.
This is a fun wrinkle.
10 years, everybody. We've been doing this for 10 years, and we still can't hear John _Danger.
What's your least favorite thing about John?
Yeah, John, we haven't heard you the whole podcast.
My least favorite thing about John is that...
No, he can still hear us.
I know.
I know.
That's why this is fun. Can't hear you, John. Oh, shit.
Yeah, yes, you can hear me.
Oh, we can hear you
now.
You goddamn bastards.
What if we just coordinated in a private chat?
It's actually like the dumbest thing ever. The way that this microphone I'm talking about is working is the fact that it doesn't do anything. It's still connected to the same microphone. I just have to switch to another input and switch back, and then it works. It is a total just software bug.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, so it's really stupid because I mean I'm looking at the densities of metals and platinum is the densest metal, like more dense than gold. Like this shit is more expensive than gold. I mean, like and platinum still has impurities in it too. Like you would just say it's a pure metal alloy that cannot be bent. They could have just said that, but anyway, it's a minor nitpick. It's a fantasy world. I just thought it was like, really, you're gonna go with platinum? Like platinum's insane. It also
now I will say, as somebody who is not a chemist, I did not care or notice about any of that stuff.
Well, I know. It just bothered me, who did chemistry for a very long time, because platinum is used in a lot of cancer treatments, as well as, you know, what's really fun about so cisplatin. I worked on cancer drugs that had platinum, cisplatin, which is a platinum Anyway, it's platinum that's used in chemotherapy, platinum. Which is one of the reasons why chemotherapy is super expensive. But platinum fucks up your cells. And it fucks up cancer cells too. So it works for both. But it's really expensive. And it would be dangerous to have something made of platinum that big. But anyway, it's platinum. They can't bend it. So they do the fucking Star Wars, let's try and trip the mech and do all sorts of stuff. And Varric,
you guys ever see that really old movie Empire Strikes Back? Yeah.
We're
at the Avengers Endgame now.
Varric, before they're like about to go off on this like final attack, he's going to do this EMP. He's like, Julie, I got to tell you something, and he gets engaged to Julie, which is great. Will you do the thing?
Yeah.
For the rest of our lives or something. I forget. Yeah. It's really good. And it doesn't work. So yeah, Hiroshi Sato is freed, and they like do the little like fucking montage where they put
Mommy
plasma
and Daddy
cutters.
Built a hummingbird, and it's like, oh, he's gonna die.
Plasma cutters onto the little hummingbird mech flight suits. So the idea is they got to distract it while they get the hummingbirds on there to cut a hole so you can get inside, because basically the thing is fucking impenetrable from the outside, except for it has glass windows, but whatever. Let's not get into that.
It's platinum glass. It's the transparent aluminum from Star Trek.
Like my plan would have been, let's just throw some rocks at the windows and then go in through the windows.
Well, they did try to cover it with paint.
They covered it with paint, but then it had
windshield wipers,
which is funny. It's like, well, I guess if you built it, you'd be like,
probably made
something.
of platinum too.
Yeah.
My plan would be that Kuvira is controlling it with metal bending, so like the mechanisms inside must be metal.
Yeah, it is interesting that they can
just fuck it up.
Bend. That it's true. You think that they could bend the stuff inside the platinum outer shell because the inside they said isn't made of platinum.
I mean, and that's how that's how Kuvira controls it, is through metal bending the levers.
Yeah.
Let's not get into the complicatedness of how this probably falls apart.
It's also how, like, of all the bending skills, water bending and earth bending absolutely win any fight, whoever bends first, because they can turn water immediately into ice. They just turn someone's cells into ice, they're fucking dead.
Yeah.
Or in earth bending, you just pull an 800-pound rock and just squish them, and they're just fucking dead.
Yeah.
And then fire bending, like, you can
firebending, electrical. You could shoot a bolt
Yeah, but not all of them can do that. All of the waterbenders can turn water to ice.
That's true. That is a very
all of the earthbenders can drop a heavy fucking rock on you and kill you.
It's true. You have to be a
and
specialized
all the
firebender.
airbenders can suffocate you.
So
if you're Milo, you can fart bend.
Yeah.
God, I fucking
Which is
hate
the
that
worst.
character.
He does suck. I love that he comes up with the like plan to do the paint. You're like, wow, Milo, that's a really good idea. Oh, it's fucking stupid. Never mind. They got windshield wipers.
So Asami's dad is like, all right, if I crash this into the thing, I can be there long enough just for the hole to be drilled.
Yeah.
And he does, and then he ejects Asami out of the ejector seat, and he's like, I love you, Asami. And then he gets fucking exploded to death.
Yeah. You're pancaked.
He gets
and there's a hole.
He gets mosquitoed.
There's a hole in the bottom of the nuclear equipped walking battle tank, and they go in through the hole. And they fight Kuvira, and they beat her up real good. And
Korra goes into fucking like and has an awesome fight with Kuvira. The animation and combat in Korra is so fucking good.
Yeah.
Just all of the like bending fights and the metal, and it just looks so amazing.
There's a moment where you think that Mako's gonna die, because he's like, I gotta stay here and like use my electric bending to blow up the reactor and the Spirit Vine reactor.
It probably should have killed Mako off. Would have been a little bit more emotional.
Yeah, I think so too, because he didn't have like a romantic interest.
So
or,
like I was thinking maybe Mako
or-
would end up like paralyzed or something. You know what I mean? Like they do the dumb cop out thing where rather than killing a character,
it's like
here's the Avengers Civil War. We didn't kill someone, we just paralyzed.
He's
someone.
like on the way
that's
out
bad.
from the explosion, and he gets like shot with an energy beam,
That's
and then it cuts.
right to get paralyzed.
What?
It's Rhodey.
Don-
Rhodey.
Yeah, he gets paralyzed, and that's lame. They should. I mean, like the Civil War thing is in the comics. It's someone dies, right?
Captain America dies.
Yeah.
And then
Well-
Bucky Barnes becomes Captain America.
I thought in Civil War, Captain America killed somebody.
No.
I don't remember. Someone dies in Civil War, and that's like a big
Bucky
deal.
becomes Captain America after
And then the
Civil
Marvel movies, they're like, let's just paralyze a side character because we can't get rid of Captain America. It's like, you could have killed him. Is he really needing to be in the rest of these movies? Like, what the
Honestly,
fuck? Like,
I love Don Cheadle to death, but no, he's completely unnecessary. in the MCU.
that bothered me because it was like, because that's something that would have been like really emotionally resonant. Like, if someone died, and it was when it happens later with another character. Like,
Yeah.
it's very, very. They could have had that in Civil War, but I guess whatever. It's fine. Like, the movies are fine.
So-
That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about Varric and Julie get married after they. Oh yeah, Kuvira and Korra finally have like a talk about how they're like kind of the same, and they've all made mistakes in the past, and like Kuvira's like, I was an orphan, and that's why I suck.
And
it's
we
like,
should
that's
say
not
that
a
they're having
great-
this conversation in the Spirit Wilds, where
Oh yes, because Korra exploded.
because they exploded the robot, and the big old gun for
Yeah.
the robot landed in the Spirit Wilds where Kuvira and Korra landed.
Yeah, so it was such a large amount of spirit energy in one spot that it created a new portal to the spirit world. So there are three. There's the North Pole, South Pole, and the Republic City spirit world portal. And yeah, they're in there. Korra saves Kuvira a couple times, and Kuvira kind of is like gets that like, why are you saving me? Like kind of feeling a little bit, but I don't know. It's a little weak because her whole reasoning is like, I was an orphan and nobody respected me, so I don't know. I became Hitler. It's like, okay, well, that I don't think that works. And immediately they're like, you're going to jail as soon as she comes out, and you're like, yeah, that's right. She was going to kill her husband like with a giant super weapon.
And also
she's
the
a lady.
entire city. So
Yeah.
like she's both emotionally and like a sociopath.
Well, yeah, and like you know, she wasn't expecting the city to be empty, and she was just blasting all around. So it's like, yeah,
So
you're,
she
you're
started
pretty bad.
blasting.
So she started. blasting.
So anyway, I started blasting.
Yeah. So Julie and Varric get married, and it's very sweet. And I actually was emotionally touched a little bit. I don't know why. I think it's
Yeah,
just 'cause I
that one
liked it.
that was a nice scene for me too.
I like both those characters so much, and it's so nice that they're together because they're just so fun together. And it's like, Happy. Wu, who actually we didn't talk about in a previous episode, actually kind of mans up and gets everybody out
Wu
of the
this
city.
whole time was like, I will be king if you win, and like he's been a good character, but not great. But then he ends up being king, and like, what are you gonna do that you're king, Wu? And he's like, oh, I'm dissolving the monarchy.
Well, I was talking about in like 2 episodes ago when they're escaping the city.
The badger
He
moles.
does a nice.
He gets the badger moles to like escape.
Oh yeah.
And he takes charge, and you're like, oh, maybe he's not a bad guy. And they give him a little redemption arc there. But then he has the ultimate redemption arc of being like, I'm not going to be king anymore. That's stupid. Like
he's using his power as king to dissolve the monarchy entirely.
Yeah, and make it into like a the independent states of the Earth Kingdom. Like, and so that's great. And then Korra and Asami plan a trip together to the spirit world. In the last scene of the series, they walk hand in hand to the spirit portal. My wife booed that they did not kiss.
Yeah, I booed.
They did stare intently while holding both hands together. And
Yeah,
that's so fade out.
I remembered when I saw this the first time before, like when it aired, it was very obvious that they were in a relationship at the end there.
Yeah, and upon rewatch, there's like we talked about, I think on the last time, there's a lot of scenes.
And then they basically do everything but kiss. I mean, they hold hands and clasp their hands together, face each other very close, and then the episode ends.
But
like, what
also,
the fuck?
we have to remember that we are watching this in a world where, like, at least 2 of us are post Steven Universe, where we've seen like a lesbian wedding on a cartoon.
And
3 of us.
My wife and I looked this up. This is before gay marriage was legal in the U.S. because it was 2014.
Yeah,
they were also the first gay couple on Nickelodeon, I believe.
They did as much as I think they could.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know.
Remember, so it's they did it.
Sokka is ambidextrous.
Just love him.
Right. That meme.
That's so great. Sokka.
I remember.
Oh.
I remember the that happening and it being a pretty big deal, and
the A in LGBTQIA stands for ambidextrous.
so that's just cool. I'm glad they were able to do that. I wish they could have done more, but
I mean, like it was maybe like a year ago at this point, I had stumbled on YouTube that like the voice actors were gonna like voice the kissing scene, so I like immediately clicked on it. I was like, I don't want to get spoiled, and so I was expecting that to be a whole thing in the show.
Oh yeah,
but I guess it's in the comics.
Yeah, so I think they probably pushed it as hard as Nickelodeon allowed them to.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure if they would have let them kiss, they would have.
Years later, when Steven Universe finally got like a lesbian wedding on a cartoon, on
lesbian,
a wedge.
They're not genders.
On the stipulation. It was on
space rocks.
It was on so many different stipulations of Cartoon Network. Like one of them has to be wearing a tuxedo, and one of them has to be wearing a dress. They can't both be wearing a dress. And also, they can be lesbians because they both look like women, but they have to be aliens that have no specific gender and their bodies are made of light. And also, you can't say the word lesbian or gay. So, like, under all these stipulations,
that sounds like The Boys season 2. It's like America's more receptive. One is masculine presenting, and one's feminine presenting.
Yeah,
the
Brave Maeve Pride Bar.
Oh, speaking of
Pride Bar,
have you seen the like Target's doing a whole?
I
Matt,
believe
your cat broke your
microphone.
Your cat has broken your microphone, and we can. And
we cannot hear you.
No, your cat face rubbed the microphone, and your audio went away.
How about now?
Yeah,
that's better.
Okay. I think let's stop it.
Maybe you need a new XLR cable.
Yeah, I hope it's the cable and not. Well, I guess if it's the jack on the microphone, I could fix that too. But that's.
I was about to say,
frustrating.
It'll be a more difficult fix than buying a new cable. But
I do have to say that
that's it. We're done with Korra.
That last scene was still just a drop in the bucket when they spent 98% of season 4 with Kuvira dick bending the audience. Just saying.
That's true. She was dick bending quite a bit, just like the dick bender from Avatar. the sexy
Yeah,
bounty hunter lady.
Yeah.
Okay, so my
voiced by FemShep voice actress. I can't
Jennifer
remember.
Hale.
Oh yes.
Jennifer Hale.
And so my suggestion for our next, now that we've done both of the Avatar and Korra, is I think we should do a one-off book club for the last Airbender M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Oh my god. No.
We have finished.
Veto.
I don't want to watch.
We have
it
finished.
again.
We have finished the good stuff of the show. We can do the bad one now.
I
We don't have
watched
to do
that
watched-
with riff tracks, and it still wasn't enjoyable.
I watched part of that recently because it was on Pluto TV, and it is fucking
It's
bad.
it's very very bad. Yes.
I've seen
But
it
so this
twice.
is something we need to talk about with the audience a bit. Is that the Bike Book Club? We're going to. I think that TJ and I talked a little bit about this last night, but maybe doing some sort of vote. People want to submit ideas, and then we can put it to a vote. Where I believe for us hosts, you can submit a show, but you can't vote for your own. And
Does it have to be
hopefully
Does it have to be complete?
No.
Okay.
A thing, and it has to be something we can all watch. So it's got to be on streaming services. So like a Hulu, Netflix, whatever. Hulu, Netflix, Disney Plus, HBO Go, any of those things. And if somebody needs an HBO login, I'm sure they can get one. As long as
We can find one somewhere.
I'm sure you can get access to HBO Max. So that is what we'll do. We'll come up with things. I know Cobra Kai has been thrown out.
Mhm.
Any other legitimate suggestions? I think Steven Universe wouldn't be bad. The only problem with that is I watched it very recently, like 6 months ago. So
it also ended last year. So
yeah, it's very recent. Yeah,
nobody who has seen all of it has been more than a year since they have.
That's true. You might just want to watch that on your own. I like the idea of watching something that people haven't seen.
If you want to do something quick, we can go at Gretzko.
No,
Gretzko. I don't know about that.
I don't know what that is.
Do anime garbage.
Let's do that one where food makes people come.
I've seen quite a bit of that already. My kids like that show.
They don't come. They just really, really enjoy the food.
Yeah.
But there's like very suggestive shots of people enjoying the food. My suggestion would be my favorite television series of all time, except for Mad Men but would be The Leftovers, and that's 3 seasons with about 25 episodes across 3 seasons. It's an hour long though, so I don't know. That's my suggestion. I love that show. But I don't know. I'd watch anything. Something we can all watch together.
My suggestion is the television program Sliders, starring Jerry O'Connell.
I just heard a question about Sliders on actually on Dropout.tv.
She-Ra on Netflix.
I just finished it, but it's great.
That would be
She-Ra's probably too recent. We got to talk about stuff that's not super recent.
Have everyone else seen She-Ra?
I haven't.
Have you seen it, John?
I don't like cartoons.
Have you seen it, TJ?
Yeah, I finished it.
So the problem I have with She-Ra is that it's I don't appreciate like the PC culture. No. No, the problem I think what I have with She-Ra is it says it's 5 seasons. That's a lot.
I think they're 10
It's
episodes.
a quick 5
seasons,
yeah.
Yeah, but that's 50 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
we just
no, Avatar was 61. Last
Really?
Airbender was 61, yeah. 2021. And then this one was 52.
Okay. So I guess it's not that different. They're not hour longs, are they?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, thank God.
23,
I mean,
24 minutes.
I would be interested. I mean, it's I like all the people behind it. Adventure Time would be a good suggestion as well.
I haven't
seen it
just because I haven't seen it, and I've been looking for an excuse to watch it, but there's just so many episodes that I haven't.
I think Adventure Time would be really good. I have seen it, but I haven't seen it recently, and I have not seen all of it because I have not seen like the last 2 seasons.
So the thing about Adventure Time is that there are 283 episodes.
There's a lot of Adventure Time.
It's freaking JoJo.
To be fair, though, I believe the Adventure Time episodes are 15 minutes, and there's 2 and 1 half hour.
Which is how they
that
did Steven
still
Universe.
ends up being 140 half hours.
I agree. It's a fuckload. That is a problem. But we could do.
That's only
a
70 hours. That's just like 3 days. We could do that.
Yeah, I think like leftovers would be 20. I think there's like 20 some episodes, and they're hour long, so that's 20 hours. That's the problem. Is that there's too many.
Cobra Kai is 30 episodes currently, and season 4 will come out next year.
So there are 52.
We got to end the episode.
Let's
We're
do
at like
Doctor
4
Who.
hours.
Oh god. So She-Ra has 52 episodes. The runtime is 24 minutes. So that would be I think Korra was 40.
That's almost exactly Korra. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think Korra.
Korra's 52. It was 12, 14.
No.
12,
I'm
14.
saying runtime. How long does every episode of Korra run?
They were half hours, so they were 24.
22 minutes, 23 minutes.
Yeah. 21 once you cut
so
off.
It's almost exactly Korra. Korra has the same number of episodes and the same episode runtime.
What if we just started watching Avatar again?
I think I did rewatch Avatar. Yeah, because when it came on Netflix, the nicer high quality version, I rewatched it then as well.
Did they put the better versions up there?
On Netflix,
Nice.
yes. Like a year ago now, but I watched it on Netflix when they had poo-poo versions. And then this was like the first week we did the Bite Book Club. I watched the entire show. And then like season 2, they added the nice ones.
Leftovers is 28 hours because it's 28 episodes, but they're like 48 minutes to an hour a piece. So
almost the same.
Yeah, it's not as long as some of the
Well,
others.
speaking of leftovers, I want to go eat some food.
Yeah, it is late. We can talk about this off the air and maybe next week.
And then maybe we'll do some online Clone Hero this week.
Hell yeah!
Yeah,
I got to get that shit hooked up.
Yeah, I think Adventure Time is really interesting because I'd love to watch that again.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen maybe an episode. So
the problem with Adventure Time is we could probably skip like the first 3 seasons because it doesn't really become itself until a little bit later. But it's still really good and fun. I love that show, but it also gets up its own ass real hard at the end. It gets real serious and grimdarky.
It turns into a pickle.
Okay. Yeah,
it's the funniest shit you've ever seen, though.
I mean, the voice actor of Rick and Morty is in that show. So.
Oh, really?
Yes, he plays Lemon Grab, who's an incredible character.
Oh.
Who just is a guy who screams at everyone.
Unacceptable!
And it's amazing. That show is incredible, though. It's so fantastical. It's really fun. Anyway,
the entire Lemon Grab family.
Yeah. So I am John_Danger on Twitter.com. I'm looking. Melinda Gates. I am available.
Wink.
You got to shoot your shot, guys.
Yeah. Hey, Jeff Bezos' ex-wife. I'm available too. Wink.
Melinda, if you spend a couple months at the gym, I'll let you knock my teeth out.
Is she old enough for you? That's the problem.
She is a little younger than Bill. Spend a few years at the gym.
And then I'm a week and a half from being done with the majority of my work, so you could soon find me back on twitch.tv/mayofmay. Super excited.
Yeah. Start streaming those rhythm games.
Oh, yeah, I've been playing Friday Night Funkin'.
I always
everyone
wonder
else
why,
been playing that.
Why are they getting divorced?
I don't know.
They're so old.
It's
my thought is once you're past like 65,
Bye,
70,
everybody.
Bye.